Hello and welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, where the number 1 and number 2 teams in the nation are ready to battle for Big Ten supremacy with the top spot in the college football playoff on the line. Thank you so much for joining us here on WIUX. It's the Big Ten Football Championship from downtown Indianapolis. Alongside Andrew Hillsman and Zach Browning, I'm Nick Rodecap. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday evening with us. Ben Haller is down on the sideline, and we will hear from him shortly. But Zach Browning, this is a game that will go down as one of the biggest in college football history. It's going to define the Big Ten champion. Could be Indiana's first ever win in the Big Ten championship game, in the Hoosiers' first ever appearance, and it could also decide the Heisman Trophy race between these two quarterbacks, Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza.
You know, Nick, I think it's easier to talk about what's not at stake than talk about what actually is at stake tonight, because there is so much on the line. You talked about the college football playoff seeding. Both of these two teams probably have buys in the playoff already locked up. The Heisman Trophy, not only though just the playoff seeding, number 1 versus number 2 or 3 or maybe even 4, who knows, but the winner of this game is the undoubted favorite to win a national title in about a month and a half come January 19th. So the amount that is at stake in this game, it's the third time ever we've had a number 1 versus a number 2 in a conference championship game. The size, the magnitude, it doesn't get much bigger than this.
This Lucas Oil Stadium crowd is revved up. They are ready to go, and we've got Ben Haller down on the sidelines. Ben, what can you tell us as the pregame festivities are about to wrap up?
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to bring Sideline back to WIUX. And what better game than the Big Ten Championship 1 versus 2? A couple things to note before we get the game started on the sideline. Availability injury report came out, and a couple of things for Indiana. Drew Evans is healthy, will play. He was with the starting offensive line before the game. Charlie Becker was with the starters, but E.J. Williams is healthy and out there running around, so Williams available today. Still might see Becker with the starters. It's Zen Maholski over Khalil Benson, though, at the right tackle. For Ohio State, no injured starters. Fellas, this is a defense that had 6 players make the first team all Big Ten defense. Let's go Hoosiers, let's go Buckeyes chants going right now. This will be a fun one. Guys.
Thanks, Ben, and we can hear this crowd. There's a ton of red on both sides. It is packed out here. I almost said a Memorial Stadium because you hear the Let's Go Hoosier chants, and that's kind of what it sounds like. But here at Lucas Oil Stadium, just over 60,000 strong. Zach, there is not an empty seat in this house. The historical implications of this for Indiana. Curt Cignetti leads the Hoosiers to their first ever 12-0 regular season, their first ever unbeaten regular season without any ties, their first appearance in the Big Ten championship game. And you know, it's funny because about 2 years ago, Cignetti was hired, did an interview here at Lucas Oil Stadium with Big Ten Network, and said, well, I figure we'd make the trip up here, and I'd be here in this stadium because we're going to be playing in this game next year. He was asked about that soundbite, and he said, well, I was a year late. But this is the culmination of 2 years of unbelievable work by Cignetti and his staff to turn this program around.
And not only that, you bring up that quote, phenomenal quote, but I'll go back to Big Ten football media days in 2024 before his first ever season, before he even stepped on the field as the Indiana head coach. His opening statement, he said he's not looking to come into Indiana and lead the Hoosiers to being 5th best or 4th best or 2nd best. He wants to be the best, and he's got the opportunity tonight against the number 1 team in the country, a team that hasn't lost in over a year, the reigning national champions. He's got a chance to prove that he and his Hoosiers are in fact the best.
It was November 23rd, 2024 when Indiana went into the Horseshoe in Columbus to face Ohio State. A top 5 matchup. Indiana had a chance to put its money where its mouth was, and the Hoosiers fell flat on their faces, getting blown out by Ohio State. And the players who were on that team said it left a terrible taste in their mouths, and they learned a lot from going into that environment and not playing well. Cignetti said that moment was probably too big for that team, but a year later they've learned a lot of lessons, they've added some key pieces, and they feel much more prepared this time around.
You're exactly right, Nick. This is a big moment, yes. It's the Big Ten championship, a chance, as you mentioned, for their first ever Big Ten title. But Indiana's been in big games this year. That's the difference between this year's team and last year's team. Last year's team, all the talk about the schedule, it had its merit. Indiana didn't play a super tough schedule a season ago. This year, that's not the case. At Autzen, you take down Oregon. The week before at Kinnick, you take down an Iowa team that is incredibly difficult to beat in Iowa City. Then later in the season, everybody knows about it. They all heard about it. In-state college, Penn State, that last game-winning drive for Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers. There's not a more battle-tested team in the Big Ten, perhaps, than Indiana. Certainly the more battle-tested team on the field tonight.
And you think about going into that Oregon game because Indiana was coming off of a bye week, but before that, the Hoosiers had already made two big statements, one at home against then number 9 Illinois, winning 63-10, and going to Kinnick Stadium, as you mentioned, and winning 20-15. Fernando Mendoza completing the game-winning touchdown pass to Elijah Surratt with less than 2 minutes left. But everybody talked up Autzen Stadium as one of the toughest places to play in college football. Indiana running out onto the field, you can hear a mixture of boos and cheers. I'd have to imagine this crowd is 50-50. But Indiana goes into Autzen Stadium, beats Oregon, which no team had done in over 2 full seasons. That is how difficult it is to win at Autzen Stadium, and Indiana leaned on its defense in that game. Fernando Mendoza threw a pick-6, came back, led the go-ahead touchdown drive. This team has faced adversity before. They've played on big stages, and I think one understated aspect of this, it's a neutral site. It's not a hostile environment like Indiana has faced multiple times. I think that could play a big factor in this game as well.
And I also think something that not a lot of people are talking about, yes, Ohio State's number 1. Yes, they've been dominant. Yes, Indiana's number 2. Yes, they've skidded by a couple of teams, but for all intents and purposes, Indiana has been phenomenal. But when you're comparing these two teams, you almost have to throw everything out the window because neither of these two teams have played anybody like each other. Ohio State has not played a defense like Indiana's this year. Ohio State has not played a Heisman Trophy candidate like Fernando Mendoza this year. On the flip side, Indiana has not played a defense with the talent all throughout the defense at all 3 levels of the number 1 defense in the country in Ohio State. And on the flip side, the Hoosiers, the closest comparison to Julian Sayin the Hoosiers have, Dante Moore. But these two teams have not played anybody like each other.
Captains are meeting at midfield, getting ready for the coin toss here at Lucas Oil Stadium, the site of the 2025 Big Ten Football Championship game. Ohio State is the designated home team in this game. The Buckeyes in their scarlet and gray uniforms, scarlet tops, white numerals, gray pants, gray helmets, white socks and shoes as well in a variety of colors. Indiana in its road white uniforms with red numerals, letters, and trim. The red helmets with the white IU trident and 2 stripes across the top. For Indiana, the captains Aiden Fisher, Pat Coogan, Riley Nowakowski, and wide receiver Elijah Surratt. And for Ohio State, Brandon Innes, Sonny Styles, Austin Saraveld out there as well for the scarlet and gray. And Zach, there's been so much anticipation leading up to this moment. Both of these teams capped off their unbeaten regular seasons, and one of them has to lose, but you know both of these teams are going to the college football playoff, so the stakes, some people say this game doesn't mean anything. That is not the sentiment that we heard from either coach throughout the week.
You're exactly right. Indiana obviously playing for just about everything. The history that a win tonight would claim and clinch for Indiana is off the charts. On the flip side, if you're the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's been a little bit since you last won a Big Ten title, and I know that they want to kind of knock out the critics. A lot of people saying, you know, Ohio State's Super Bowl was last week. They beat Michigan. They finally beat Michigan. This game doesn't mean as much as the game does for Ohio State in the grand scheme of things. So Ohio State's going to want to put some of those doubters and critics to bed tonight.
And I want to bring in the third member of our broadcast crew up here in the booth, Andrew Hillsman. We're less than a minute away from kickoff. Your thoughts as the clock ticks towards 0.
I told Ben Kruer about this on the post-game show, Nick. I think what's going to decide this incredible matchup is the second level. A lot can be said about how good these two offensive line and defensive line units, and that matchup is going to be one to watch all night. But the talent at linebacker that both of these defenses possess, I think is absolutely, without a doubt, the best in the country. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, Aiden Fisher, Isaiah Jones. Whoever wins at the second level and is able to stop the run is going to have the best advantage in this game.
We'll dive into some numbers as this game goes along. These teams on paper are as evenly matched as you will find in college football. Ohio State won the toss and deferred. The Buckeyes will kick off. Indiana receiving. Roman Hemby is back deep for the Hoosiers. Jaden Fielding, the kickoff specialist out of League City, Texas, who is also the Buckeyes' place kicker, is ready to kick this one away. Student sections from both schools are here. They are making a lot of noise. This game, one of the most expensive games to get into that you'll find anywhere in the country, I'd say regardless of sport, this calendar year in 2025. Will it be another Big Ten title for the Ohio State Buckeyes, their first since 2020 when they beat Northwestern, or will it be a first ever Big Ten championship game win for Curt Cignetti and Indiana as the Hoosiers look to continue this meteoric rise through the ranks of college football? Last year, they looked like pretenders in big games. This year, that has not been the case. Let's see if the Hoosiers can make yet another statement here tonight at Lucas Oil Stadium. Hemby, the deep man for Indiana. Jaden Fielding has the ball teed up. He is ready to go. He puts his right arm in the air. Ball on the left hash at the 35. It's into the air, and we are underway from Lucas Oil Stadium. The ball bounces on the N and Indiana. It's a touchback, and Indiana will take over 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line to begin this game.
Nick, real quick, something I'm looking at as this game starts. What has Mike Shanahan drawn up? He can't be too passive. Let your Heisman candidate in Fernando Mendoza do his thing.
Indiana facing the Ohio State defense, which is the best in the country. The Buckeyes have allowed less than 8 points per game. The only school in the FBS to give up single-digit scoring on average. The Hoosiers, though, second best scoring offense in the country. Unstoppable force, immovable object. The Hoosiers break huddle on 1st and 10. Ball on the left hash at the 25-yard line. Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana quarterback, in the shotgun. Roman Hemby, the running back, to his right. Mendoza claps his hands, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls right. He's got Elijah Surratt open across the middle. Surratt makes the catch on the right hash at the 34-yard line. He's brought down by Caleb Downs. And Mendoza is down in the backfield after his first drop back. He completed the pass to Surratt, but Mendoza is face down on the turf back at the 18-yard line. I haven't seen a replay yet. We'll get a look at it here in a moment.
Well, Nick, we're going to have a look at the TV broadcast, and Mendoza is still down at right around the 18-yard line at midfield. We're still waiting on that replay, but a nightmarish start for Indiana.
Mendoza was a little banged up after the Penn State game. He said, I would die on that field. Mendoza took a late hit from Caden Curry, the Greenwood native. It looked like he got hit up high. His head whipped backward as Curry launched into him with his left shoulder. Honestly, I'm surprised that's not roughing the passer, given how we've seen that officiated in recent years in college football. Mendoza being helped to his backside by the Indiana trainers coming over from the far sideline. It'll be 2nd and a short 1 when we get back to action. It was a 9-yard completion to Elijah Surratt, but that is not the focus right now. Mendoza still has not gotten to his feet.
Alberto Mendoza on the Indiana sideline warming up, and Fernando is back on his feet.
Now, because that looked like it was a blow to the head, they'll probably check him out for a concussion.
You're right. He's going to jog off. I think Alberto Mendoza is going to take the next couple of snaps.
How about this for an audition for next year? I know you don't want to think ahead to next year, but if Alberto Mendoza doesn't enter the portal this offseason, this is his audition to be the starter next year.
So Alberto Mendoza appearing in his 8th game this season. He has run the second-team offense, and he's gotten plenty of chances to do so. This is a situation I don't think he or anyone else thought that he would be thrust into. Alberto Mendoza in as the Indiana starting quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is out with an injury. Mendoza in the shotgun on 2nd and a short 1. Ball at the right hash at the 34-yard line. Mendoza hands it off to Roman Hemby, running off left tackle, and he gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, up to the 35-yard line, they'll call it, saying he was just short of the line to gain. Brought down there by Sonny Styles. And Fernando Mendoza, as you might be able to tell by the cheers, is back on the field after just one play. So Indiana, after the spot, picks up the first down. It's a gain of 1 for Roman Hemby. Move the chains. 1st and 10 from the Indiana at its own 35-yard line. We're a minute into this scoreless Big Ten championship game. Fernando Mendoza took a hit after completing his first pass, went to the sideline for a play, but now he's back. Fernando in the shotgun. Roman Hemby, the running back, to his left side. 3 receivers split out wide to the left. Now Charlie Becker motions tight to the line of scrimmage on the left side. Mendoza shotgun snap, handoff to Hemby, running behind his blockers along the near side hash. Hemby picks up a gain of 2 before he's tackled by Caden Curry, who delivered that late hit on Fernando Mendoza to start the game.
It was a big tone-setting hit that time. I would agree with you, Nick. I think there was definitely a warranted flag, but Mendoza looks decent.
Indiana going quickly. 2nd down and 7. Hoosiers at their own 38. Mendoza in the shotgun. Motions Hemby behind him now in the pistol. Fernando takes an errant snap, hands it off to Hemby, running right, gets to the second level, out across the 40 to the 41, but he is driven backward by Caden Curry and Sonny Styles. This Ohio State defense, top 5 in the nation, allowing less than 85 rushing yards per game, and they made a big stop right there.
And Nick, the key for Indiana on the ground, it doesn't have to be 5-6 yards per carry. Indiana has to be able to run the ball when they need to. You have to be able to get the 6 yards on the carry when you need it.
Hoosiers approaching midfield, 3rd and 4 from their own 41-yard line. Kalon Black, the running back, to the left side of Fernando Mendoza. 3 wide receivers bunched out to the left side. Charlie Becker, the lone receiver, on the right side. Mendoza takes the snap. He has time to throw. Now flush from the pocket. Rolling left. He's scanning the field. He tries to dump it down, and he's got a man falling across the 50-yard line. The catch is made by Charlie Becker, and Indiana picks up a 1st down. These Hoosier fans are loving it. The offense is off and moving.
Well, the ability on that time by Carter Smith to hold the pocket long enough for Mendoza to roll out left and just flip that ball out to Charlie Becker. Hey, they're roommates, by the way, if you didn't know, but it's an incredible play to pick up a 1st.
Indiana at the Ohio State 49, 1st and 10, ball on the far side hash. Mendoza in the shotgun. Kalon Black, the running back, to his right side. 2 receivers near side right, 1 to the far side left. Mendoza takes the snap, fakes the handoff again. He's got good protection, looking down the seam, looking for Omar Cooper. A leaping catch attempt. It falls incomplete. Some contact there from Lorenzo Styles Jr., who was in coverage on the play. Looked like it was a little bit premature, and Omar Cooper is hobbling as he goes off to the far sideline.
Yeah, it looked like that ball might have just been ever so slightly underthrown. You wonder if maybe that hit Fernando Mendoza took on that first play has anything to do with that.
So now 2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass. 11:55 to go, 1st quarter. We are scoreless in the Big Ten championship game. Mendoza in the gun, takes the snap, hands off to Kalon Black, who cuts back to the left, running outside the hash marks. He picks up a handful of yards before he's brought down by the Ohio State defensive tackle, Caden McDonald. It'll be 3rd and medium for the Hoosiers coming up.
It's so tough to even get to the 2nd level, Nick, against this Ohio State defense. Styles, we haven't seen a tackle from Reese, but Caden McDonald, Curry, and Sonny Styles have been so good so far.
Ball on the Ohio State 46-yard line, 3rd and 7 for Indiana. Kalon Black, the running back, to the right side of Mendoza. 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. It's the freshman LeBron Bond out there on an island by himself. Mendoza takes the snap. He's got time to pass. Now flush from the pocket, stepping up. He's got nowhere to go. Sacked back behind the 50 by Caden Curry. The Greenwood native who won 3 state championships in this building, playing for Center Grove High School, sacks Mendoza, and out comes the punt team.
And Nick, that's the point of contention, that right tackle spot. You're going to have to go up against Caden Curry from that spot. That's Zin Mahalski in for Cleo Benson tonight. That's the point of contention. That's where Ohio State thinks it has its greatest advantage up front.
Mitch McCarthy standing on his own 34-yard line. Brandon Innes is the deep man for Ohio State. The snap is back. The punt is away. End over end. Innes calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 11-yard line. That is where we will get our first look at Julian Sayin and this Ohio State offense. Indiana forced to punt after picking up 1 first down on its opening drive. Clock stop, 10:35 to go in this first quarter. We're scoreless from Indianapolis. You're listening to the Big Ten Championship on WIUX. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Indiana and Ohio State scoreless. 10:35 to go in this first quarter. Alongside Andrew Hillsman and Zach Browning, I'm Nick Rodecap. Indiana forced to punt after getting just past midfield. The fair catch was made officially at the 12-yard line. That's where Julian Sayin and this Ohio State offense will take over. Sayin, a redshirt freshman, he transferred in from Alabama by way of Carlsbad, California, the most efficient passer in college football this year. The Buckeyes break huddle. Sayin adjusting something at the line of scrimmage. Now he joins his running back, Bo Jackson, in the backfield, and we'll talk more about him throughout this game. 1 receiver wide to either side. Sayin takes the handoff. He fakes it, I should say, to Bo Jackson. He fires to the near side. The pass is caught by Jeremiah Smith, who makes the catch and steamrolls his way forward to the 25-yard line. A gain of 13 to start the drive for Ohio State.
That's one we have circled for tonight. 2 former teammates in high school at Chaminade Madonna, and that is strength on strength. Perhaps the best receiver in all of college football against perhaps one of the best cornerbacks in all of college football.
Kurt Cignetti compared Jeremiah Smith to Julio Jones, who he coached back at Alabama. New first down for Ohio State. Sayin in the shotgun. Smith split out wide to the right. Carnell Tate, the receiver, near side left. Sayin takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Jackson, rolling to his right. He's got pressure in his face. He fires toward the near sideline. It's a throwaway. The pass is incomplete as Indiana got pressure on the Ohio State quarterback. Mario Landino and Stephen Daly got through the offensive line right there.
Well, I mean, that time, that's how Indiana needs to get after Sayin. Make him uncomfortable in the pocket. I don't think Sayin has faced a front seven as good as Indiana all year. That's going to be the key tonight to try and get this seemingly unflappable quarterback off his game.
Sayin, one of the Heisman front runners, incomplete on his second passing attempt of the evening. Second down and 10 from Ohio State's own 25-yard line. Jackson in the backfield with Julian Sayin. Sayin takes the snap. He hands it off to Jackson, running behind left guard, out across the 25. He's up to about the 28-yard line before the safety, Lewis Moore, brings him down. A third and medium for Ohio State and a chance for Indiana to get the defense off the field.
We'll see how successful Jackson is on the ground against this talented Indiana defense. He's got 3 straight games up over 100 yards rushing.
This Indiana crowd waving their white towels, getting very loud down below us and to our left. Ohio State breaks huddle, 3rd down and 6. They need to get to their own 35-yard line here. Sayin adjusting protections at the line of scrimmage. The power back, C.J. Donaldson, is off Sayin's left hip. 3 receivers stacked to the far side. Jeremiah Smith alone on the near side. Sayin lifts his right leg, takes the snap, pressure coming. Sayin drops back, he fires underneath. The pass is tipped and intercepted. Lewis Moore running the other way. He's crossed the 25 and brought down at the 22-yard line. Indiana set up with great field position as Moore has his team-leading 6th interception of the year.
That's all about the pressure on the quarterback. He's not been uncomfortable much this season, Julian Sayin. We saw he was uncomfortable right there in a condensed pocket, and he throws an interception. We'll see if Indiana can take advantage because Michigan didn't last week. When Julian Sayin threw an interception on the opening drive, Michigan was unable to take advantage.
Indiana takes over inside the Ohio State 25. 8:57 to go in this first quarter. We're scoreless, but Fernando Mendoza and this Hoosier offense have a golden chance to strike first. Mendoza breaks huddle. 4 receivers in the formation. 3 to the near side. 1 to the far side. It's Elijah Surratt. Mendoza in the shotgun. Claps his hands, takes the snap, hands off to Kalon Black, running right. He gets between the hashes to about the 22 before he's met by a gaggle of defenders. That included Sonny Styles, the middle linebacker. A gain of maybe 1, but there wasn't a whole lot there.
Styles there on first contact, like you said, Nick. But this is the momentum shift that Indiana looked for, and you just go back to the uncertainty around Lewis Moore starting the year. He has the eligibility and coming up in an incredible way to make that play.
3 receivers in the formation on 2nd down and 9. Ball between the hashes at the Ohio State 22. Surratt and Brady to Mendoza's left. E.J. Williams on the near side right. Kalon Black on Mendoza's right hip. Snap, back to pass. He's got Elijah Surratt. A quick out route, and Surratt is forced out of bounds at the 11. 1st down and 10 for Indiana as Surratt got the better of Ohio State defensive back Davison Igbinosun right there.
And I'm curious to see how handsy Igbinosun is. He was one of the most penalized corners in the country last season. He's cleaned it up a little bit this season, but he's not faced anybody as strong and as good of a route runner as Surratt.
Hoosiers can get a 1st down without scoring. They've got 1st and 10 at the Ohio State 11-yard line. Mendoza in the gun, Kalon Black to his left side. Mendoza motions a tight end to the right side of the line of scrimmage, and now he takes the snap. He's back to pass, pump fakes, now rolling to his right. He's got some time, backpedaling near the 15, and he throws it through the end zone incomplete. E.J. Williams was in the area, but that right there, Caden Curry and Sonny Styles got pressure on the Indiana quarterback.
Again, these star players acting as stars for Ohio State, forcing Mendoza to get uncomfortable. I'm sure Mendoza didn't want to take another shot from Curry. The wise decision made right there to get rid of that ball.
Curry delivered a big hit on Mendoza's first drop back, sent him to the sideline for a play. Roman Hemby in the backfield now for Indiana. 2nd down and 10. The Hoosiers can get a 1st down at the Ohio State 1-yard line. Mendoza takes the snap from the shotgun. He hands it off to Hemby, running left. He gets to the numbers at about the 10. But Ohio State rallying to the ball carrier once again. And who else but Sonny Styles to bring Hemby down and force a 3rd and long.
And Nick, it's a matter of when, not if, Fernando Mendoza tries to keep one of these RPO type of run options in these types of goal-to-go situations down in the red zone. Look out for that.
Ryan Day said Indiana runs RPO, run-pass option, as well as any team in college football. 3rd down and 10. The Hoosiers, again, can get a 1st down at the 1. They break huddle. 2 receivers to the near side right. And a tight end, Riley Nowakowski, in the slot on the left side. He's out there with Elijah Surratt. Mendoza brings Surratt closer to the line of scrimmage. The snap is back. Mendoza scanning the field. He fires underneath, but it's deflected at the line of scrimmage. It falls incomplete. Caden Curry had the pass breakup, and here comes the field goal unit for the Hoosiers.
Well, I mean, just to be able to break up that play, Curry looked through his man the whole way. That's what defensive ends are taught to do. It's a fundamental thing to look at the ball as well as your blocker. And now Nico Radicic, the kicker of the year, will come out to try and put the first couple of points on the board for this game.
Radicic, the Big Ten kicker of the year for Indiana. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Radicic is ready. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick in the air on the way, and he splits the uprights. Indiana strikes first in the Big Ten championship game. The Hoosiers lead Ohio State 3-0. 6:51 on the clock in this opening quarter. We will take a quick break. You're listening to the Big Ten championship football game on WIUX, your home for Hoosier sports. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Indiana leads Ohio State 3-0. 6:51 to go in this first quarter. Alongside Andrew Hillsman and Zach Browning, Nick Rodecap with you. Thanks so much for joining us here on WIUX Sports. Indiana kicked a 29-yard field goal. Nico Radicic, the Big Ten kicker of the year, put the Hoosiers on the board. And now we'll send it down to the fourth member of our crew. Here is Ben Haller.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. You guys have touched on it. This game has a lot of implications. One of the most interesting ones is that Heisman race. It feels like the way the odds are going, the winner of this one will be the favorite to win the Heisman next weekend in New York City. Now, Diego Pavia has emerged as one of the top three favorites. He's gone second in some betting books, some behind Mendoza, some behind Sayin. It's really a crapshoot between the top three. Now, the argument is that these quarterback stats comparatively are a lot lower than what you see the last two quarterback Heismans. Jayden Daniels and 2022 Caleb Williams, each of those 3,500 yards plus. Sayin and Mendoza in the 2,700 to 3,100 range. But for Fernando Mendoza, the argument is those touchdowns for him. He could do it with his arm, and he could do it with his feet as well. He's got 32 total touchdowns on the year. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ben. Indiana kicking off, moving left to right as we see it. And this one is not returnable as Brandon Innes takes a knee on the first O in Ohio. And the Buckeyes will take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. The Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin was intercepted by Lewis Moore on the Buckeyes' first drive. I want to see him get back in rhythm here if you're a Buckeye fan.
Yeah, I think you want to try and establish the run a little bit more. There just wasn't a whole lot of touches for Bo Jackson on that first drive, and I think that was by design to try and just get that passing game going. It didn't work. The Indiana front seven has done a tremendous job thus far to get pressure on Sayin.
Sayin and the Buckeyes break huddle. 1st and 10 from their own 25. Indiana leading 3-0 with 6:51 to go in this first quarter of the Big Ten championship game. Sayin in the shotgun. Jackson in the backfield to his left. Sayin takes a belt-high snap, fakes the handoff, fires near side. The pass is caught by Jeremiah Smith. Second time in as many series, the Buckeyes have started with a quick pitch and catch to Smith.
And I'll add, there's no safety help on either side, Nick. It's D'Angelo Pons versus Jeremiah Smith on the near side of the field. On the far side of the field, it's Jamari Sharp versus Carnell Tate. Mano a mano, something to keep an eye on.
A quick out route for a gain of 7. 2nd down and 3. Ohio State at its own 32-yard line. Ball on the near side hash. Jackson in the backfield off Sayin's right hip. 2 receivers close to the line of scrimmage on the near side. Now a man goes in motion, spread wide to the right. Joining a receiver out there as well. Sayin takes the snap, fakes the handoff, pressure in his face. He rolls to his left, fires to the sideline, and the pass is caught by Carnell Tate. He got his numbers to the quarterback, made a quick catch when Sayin was pressured. 1st and 10, Ohio State.
Stephen Daly just blew right through his man, and maybe getting a little bit of a jersey grab. The flag has stayed in the pocket there. I think that's the correct decision, but good awareness to get that ball to Tate for a first down.
And so Sayin and Ohio State moving closer to midfield. Ball now on the 37-yard line. 1st down and 10, and the Buckeyes spread the field. 2 receivers out wide to the far side right, and Jeremiah Smith on the near side. Now Sayin brings Tate in motion, slot right. He takes a belt-high snap, deep drop. He's got pressure in his face, fires to the near side. It's caught across the 50 by Jeremiah Smith. Aiden Fisher, the linebacker, was in coverage. Smith, one of the most dominant players in college football, and he wins yet another route right there.
He's already disrupting this Indiana defense, and that time Indiana got home, they got pressure, but Jeremiah Smith able to get open just too quickly for that Indiana secondary.
Something to note here is that the left guard, Luke Montgomery, is on the snap, or is on the silent count with Hillsman. He's motioning towards Sayin here.
These Indiana fans making a lot of noise. 1st and 10, Ohio State, 1 yard shy of midfield at its own 49-yard line. Sayin in the pistol, takes the snap, running right. He hands off to Bo Jackson, who gets a crease on the far side, and he gets well across midfield all the way to the Indiana 45 before he's brought down by Lewis Moore and Jamari Sharp. Bo Jackson over 1,100 all-purpose yards, and he is an explosive freshman running back. Buckeyes going quickly here. Sayin in the gun. Jackson once again on his right hip. One receiver wide to either side. A tight end on the line of scrimmage as well. Sayin the snap. The handoff to Jackson. They tried to double dip, and this time Jackson was tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Tyreek Tucker, the first team All-Big Ten defensive tackle. Indiana fans making some noise now after the TFL. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Ohio State at the Indiana 46-yard line. And once again, the power back, C.J. Donaldson, replaces Jackson in the backfield. Another chance for Indiana to get off the field. Buckeyes break huddle. 2 receivers to the near side. 3 receivers, I should say. And 1 to the far side right. Sayin adjusting something at the line of scrimmage. 7 seconds on the play clock as Sayin goes back into the backfield. Now 5 seconds to snap it. They get the snap away. Sayin back to pass. He's got some time. Scanning through his progressions. He's got nowhere to go. And he's sacked by Elijah Hardy. His team leading 8th sack of the year, and Indiana stops this Ohio State offense on its first 2 possessions to start the Big Ten championship game.
And Nick, I'm going to classify that as a coverage sack because it's not like Elijah Hardy got there instantly, but Indiana, Julian Sayin was forced to step up in the pocket, and that's when Elijah Hardy was able to get home.
4th down and 9 from the 50. The Australian punter, Joe McGuire, with his heels on his own 35-yard line, ready to send this one away. Jonathan Brady is the deep man for Indiana. McGuire puts the nose of the football down, sends it end over end toward the near side, where Brady makes a fair catch on the numbers at the 11-yard line. And the Hoosiers will take over, needing to go a sizable distance, but another great defensive stand by Indiana.
Well, Nick, that you said coverage sack, but we just looked at the Fox replay here in the television. Brandon Innes was wide open on a crosser down the middle.
Yeah, Innes was wide open. We know Indiana's had trouble with the blown coverages over the top, but how about Elijah Hardy? He's kind of the number 3 linebacker when people think about Indiana. Now, of course, anybody that follows Indiana knows he's nowhere near the number 3 linebacker, but Aiden Fisher, Isaiah Jones get a lot of the headlines. Elijah Hardy is as good as any in the Big Ten.
Elijah Hardy, a big playmaker for the Hoosiers right there. 3:07 to go in this first quarter. 3-0 Indiana. The Hoosiers will have the ball when we come back. You're listening to the Big Ten Championship game on WIUX Sports. Welcome back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Indiana sacks Julian Sayin, just the 7th sack allowed by Ohio State this year, forcing the Buckeyes to punt, and the Hoosiers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line. 3:07 to go in this first quarter. The Hoosiers looking to add to a 3-0 lead.
And Nick, we have an update on Omar Cooper. He's going back to the locker room for Indiana.
Big loss.
Cooper was targeted on a deep shot from Fernando Mendoza, came up hobbled, went toward the sideline, and it looks like he is gone for the foreseeable future. So Charlie Becker, the receiver who broke out against Penn State, now getting some first-team reps here against the Buckeyes. Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana quarterback, 3 of 6 for 30 passing yards so far. The Hoosiers just 6 yards on 7 rushing attempts. Mendoza in the pistol on 1st and 10. 2 receivers wide left, 1 to the near side right. A tight end on the line of scrimmage as well. Mendoza takes the snap, play action, and the pass to the near side is incomplete. He was looking for Charlie Becker on a quick curl route, but tight coverage by Davison Igbinosun and a throw that was maybe a little off the mark.
Yeah, Igbinosun got there in a hurry. I turned my binoculars over to look, and it didn't look like he was even close. Dove in, and I think he really did a good job of disrupting that. And that was a good ball to Becker as well.
Igbinosun's 7th pass breakup of the year. 2nd down and 10 for Indiana. Mendoza in the gun. Roman Hemby to his left. 2 receivers left. 1 man comes in motion now to the backfield. Mendoza the snap. Hemby cuts back over the left guard, and he's out across the 15. Shoved forward to the 19-yard line. A big gain for Indiana on 2nd and long. A great shifty move there by the Indiana running back. And so now 3rd and manageable for the Hoosiers. 3rd and 2 from the 19. They've got to get out to the 21 to keep this drive alive. Hemby stays in the game. 2 receivers wide to either side. Hemby on the left hip of Fernando Mendoza. Ohio State showing a 4-man front, but they can bring pressure at any time. Mendoza takes the snap. It is a 4-man rush, a quarterback draw. Mendoza's got the first down. He's out across the 25, running along the numbers, and he's brought down at the 29. Mendoza uses his legs to move the chains for Indiana.
Well, Roman Hemby is an excellent runner, but he might even be a better blocker. This is an NFL-ready running back. He just goes straight and seeks Sonny Styles in the second level, makes the block, and allows Mendoza to get around, pick up that first. That's an unbelievable play from the Indiana running back.
Hemby, the Maryland transfer, making plays beyond the stat sheet. 1st and 10, ball now Indiana at its own 28-yard line. Hemby behind Mendoza off to his left side. 2 receivers stacked to the left, 1 to the near side right. Tight end Riley Nowakowski motions out wide to the left. It's a screen pass. It's deflected and intercepted by Davison Igbinosun. Mendoza was looking for Elijah Surratt on a quick wide receiver screen. The ball was deflected, and Igbinosun was in the right place at the right time. The Buckeyes force a turnover of their own, and they're set up now with prime field position.
And Nick, on that one, it looked like Riley Nowakowski just not out there quite quick enough to be able to get that block on the cornerback on the far side of the field. It actually hit off of Riley Nowakowski's forearm.
Hold on.
And I think we have a late flag.
I think we do.
The Indiana fans are booing. There was some contact from Lorenzo Styles Jr. It was either on Elijah Surratt or Nowakowski going out there. It looked like it could have been pass interference.
We'll get a media timeout.
We've got a media timeout here on the field. I don't know what the officials are looking at here. But I'd imagine if they're reviewing, this could be maybe a targeting review, but I couldn't hear anything. All I know is the Indiana fans below to our left, they were making the flag gesture, and there was a lot of booing that you guys probably heard as well. I think we'll keep it here for now. But it looked like the contact was early, and our studio host Ben Kruer in our ear saying that it looked like it was early as well. So I'm not the only one who said that. We saw Nowakowski motion from right to left to set up the screen pass. And, of course, pass interference cannot occur behind the line of scrimmage, so I'd have to imagine the referee's probably reviewing for targeting. That's the only thing I can think of at this stage.
It looks to me, I don't see the review booth out there. I don't see the head referee consulting the video screen. I'm not sure. I see the head referee is out on the field right now at right around the 30-yard line on the far side. But I think this is going to stand. It was just kind of a broken play, and it just kind of bonked Nowakowski in the back of the head, and Igbinosun was right there.
Yeah, Nowakowski was motioning towards Surratt, trying to be an extra blocker on that screen pass, but the timing of the play seemed kind of disjointed. I think Mendoza expected Surratt to be a little more separated, but Nowakowski in motion maybe threw things off. I don't know why the Indiana fans were booing, because as we know, pass interference can't occur behind the line of scrimmage, and the chains have not moved, so it probably will be Ohio State ball coming out of the break. A very interesting sequence of events there.
And, Nick, this is now Bryant Haynes, his defense. They have a time and a chance to shine because if we remember, Lou Moore's interception that set Indiana's offense up in great field position. Ohio State held the Indiana offense to a field goal. Indiana's defense has a chance now to make a big play, make a big stop, and at least, at the very worst if you're Indiana, hold Ohio State to just 3 points.
And that would be a huge stand for Indiana. The Hoosiers and the Buckeyes, top 2 in the nation in scoring defense. Indiana allowing 10.9 points per game. And Julian Sayin, the most efficient passer in college football. If the season were to end today, he would set the FBS single-season completion percentage record by nearly 6%, passing the likes of Bo Nix and Mac Jones, who finished the season at 73%, both of them. But, of course, that also includes postseason play. Sayin so far 4 of 6 for 37 yards in the interception to Lewis Moore that led to the Indiana field goal. After the media timeout, 1:41 to go in this first quarter. 3-0 Indiana with the lead. Ohio State has the ball at the Indiana 25 following the interception from Davison Igbinosun as he picked off a screen pass from Fernando Mendoza. Buckeyes have the ball on the right side hash, facing the Indiana fans who begin to make noise and wave their
they're
white
loud.
towels.
My goodness.
Ohio State in the pistol, Sayin the quarterback with Lamar Jackson, nicknamed Bo, behind him in the backfield. Sayin, the handoff to Jackson, running off right guard. He gets outside the numbers to about the 24 and then tumbles his way forward. He was initially met by Isaiah Jones, but kept the legs moving across the 20 all the way to the 18-yard line for a gain of 7.
Yeah, he's got powerful legs to be able to keep them churning and just get out of that tackle. Isaiah Jones, usually a very sure-handed tackler, that time not there.
And insult to injury, a late flag came in, a face mask called against Indiana.
We'll have a look.
And we've got the broadcast here in our radio booth. That face mask, I would have to imagine, probably going on Isaiah Jones.
Could be. Fisher was in there on that tackle as well, but this is prime position. Ron Snodgrass, the head official. Looks like it's on Mario Landino.
And they got Landino, the Pennsylvania native, on the Indiana defensive line, which means it looked like he grabbed Jackson on the face mask as he made his cut through the hole, and he turned his helmet 90 degrees to the right. So that moves Ohio State now 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Ball on the right hash, and a chance for the Buckeyes to take the lead. Jackson is the tailback. Ohio State in the offset eye. Julian Sayin, I should say, under center. Drops back. He hands it off to Jackson, and he cannot shake the first tackler this time. Jeff Utzinger brings him down in the backfield, but there is another flag that came in from the far side official. This would be a tackle for loss, but we will check the flag momentarily.
Offsides on Indiana.
And offsides assessed to Indiana. So back-to-back defensive miscues for the Hoosiers. The face mask and then the offsides, and that moves it half the distance to the goal. So we go from about the 8.5-yard line now inside the 5. I would assume. They haven't moved the down marker yet. And indeed, now they do move the ball, so it's now 1st and goal at, we'll call it the 4.5, following the offsides on Indiana's Mario Landino. And Bo Jackson now in the backfield with a fullback in there as well. Sayin fakes the handoff, looking toward the end zone. He throws it through the end zone into the 5th row, incomplete. Great pressure for the Indiana defensive front and a throwaway for Sayin.
And that was one-on-one on an island. Nobody on the near side of the field. Jeremiah Smith versus D'Angelo Pons. Sayin was staring him down the entire way. That was his only option to pass. The only guy that ran a route on that play. Excellent coverage from Pons.
And the tight end, Bennett Christian, was in there to block, but unfortunately not successful for Ohio State. Now Indiana substituting a wave of players as Ohio State breaks huddle. 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Sayin under center. And the tailback is Bo Jackson. Sayin motions a man from right to left in the backfield. He hands off to Jackson, and the play is blown dead.
Flag.
And the flag coming into the backfield, I suspect, and this is indeed false start on Ohio State. So the penalties now stacking up for both teams. Back it up 5. It'll be 2nd and goal, this time from the 9 for the Buckeyes.
Who'd they get for that?
Ryan Day pacing on the yard line, or excuse me, on the sideline at about the 40 with his arms
crossed. Looks like they got
crossed.
Bo Jackson for it.
Jackson, the running back, maybe getting started a little bit early. So now 2nd and goal from the 9 for Ohio State, trailing Indiana 3-0 with 53 seconds to go in this first quarter. Sayin making some checks at the line of scrimmage. Now he joins Bo Jackson, the running back, in the backfield. 1 receiver wide to either side, 2 tight ends in the formation for the Buckeyes. Sayin lifts his right leg, takes the snap, he's back to pass. Going through his progressions, pressure in his face. Now he rolls out right, outside the numbers. He fires to the end zone, wide open. The catch is made. Carnell Tate, touchdown Buckeyes. And with 46 seconds left in this first quarter, Ohio State takes a 6-3 lead as Tate picks up his 9th touchdown reception of the season.
Indiana's defensive line there, Nick, just could not keep contain on Sayin. He did a good job of extending the play, looking left, then rolling right. And if you've got to cover that long, especially Indiana in zone coverage there defensively, if you're asked to cover in a zone with receivers running across the field like that, it's going to be a tough time for the secondary.
Jaden Fielding on for the extra point. He's 53 out of 53 this season. Ball coming out of the hold of Joe McGuire. McGuire puts it down. Fielding sends it through. And with 46 seconds to go in this first quarter, Ohio State leads Indiana 7-3. The drive, 3 plays and 25 yards, taking 55 seconds off the clock, and capped off by a 9-yard touchdown pass from Julian Sayin to Carnell Tate. A great job there by Sayin. The pocket presence, extending the play. You mentioned it, Zach. Indiana can't cover for 7-8 seconds. It's just impossible.
And especially in zone, if you're in man, maybe that's a little bit easier. But eventually, because on that touchdown specifically, we saw Lou Moore. He was kind of that deep third of the zone, that deep third of the field in the back of the end zone there. He's got his eyes on Julian Sayin. He sees a route come underneath him. He steps up to that. He has no idea Carnell Tate is right behind him for the wide open touchdown.
Jaden Fielding getting set to kick off. 46 seconds to go in this first quarter. Ohio State taking a 7-3 lead. The ball teed up. Roman Hemby is the deep man for the Hoosiers. Solomon Van Horst is back there as well. These Ohio State fans getting something to cheer about as Sagan throws his 31st touchdown pass of his Heisman campaign season. Fielding with his right arm in the air, approaches the ball and sends it high in the air, end over end, angling toward the back of the end zone. Roman Hemby keeps his heels planted as the ball lands in the end zone for a touchback. And Indiana now with a chance to respond as Fernando Mendoza looks to give the Hoosiers the lead right back.
And respond is what Fernando Mendoza has done all season long after he throws interceptions, Nick. You think back to Oregon, you think back to that Penn State game, he's responded all year long.
Ball on the left hash, Indiana taking over, 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line. Mendoza clapping his hands as he jogged onto the field right there. Took a big hit on his first drop back from Ohio State edge rusher Caden Curry, but looks to be okay now. Hoosiers break huddle, 2 receivers to the far side, 2 receivers near side right, 1 to the far side left. Kalon Black on Mendoza's left hip. Mendoza takes the snap, he's back to pass, going through his progressions, he's loading up, he's firing deep down the field, looking for Charlie Becker, and the pass is batted away. And the flag comes out. Lorenzo Stiles Jr. was back there in coverage. It looked like he arrived just a little bit too early as he and Bryce West looked to break up the deep shot, and pass interference called on Ohio State. Move it up 15 yards for Indiana.
But you know, Nick, I like the play call. It's something I mentioned to you in the open. Don't put any restraints on Fernando Mendoza. Let him go show why he's the Heisman and why he should win it. That's what Mike Shanahan and this offense has done so far. They've gone for a couple of those deep shots.
Not a spot foul like in the NFL, so Indiana moves up to its own 40, 1st and 10. Kalon Black to the left side of Fernando Mendoza, 3 receivers wide to the near side right. Now Black motions to the right side of Mendoza. Mendoza claps his hands, head high snap, a stretch play to Black, running left, he's got daylight! 35, 25, and out of bounds at the 21. Caleb Downs shoved him out from behind, but Kalon Black, the biggest play from scrimmage for either team, and Indiana's knocking on the door of the red zone.
And how about that push from that offensive line, specifically the left side? Drew Evans back in at left guard after missing 4 straight games. He looked pretty healthy on that one, Nick.
Black galloping down the sideline. Caleb Downs had to turn his back to the line of scrimmage and hustle to save a touchdown. Clock running, 5 seconds to go in this first quarter. Indiana does not have to run another play. Mendoza in the shotgun takes the snap as the clock hits 0. Hands off to Black, running behind left guard. And he gets from the 23 to about the 21 before he's brought down by Sonny Styles. And that will take us to the end of this first quarter. An electrifying first 15 minutes of this Big Ten championship game. Indiana on the edge of the red zone. It'll be 2nd and 9 from the 22 when we come back. Ohio State leads the Hoosiers 7-3. You're listening to the Big Ten championship football game on WIUX Sports. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Start of the second quarter in the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State leads Indiana 7-3, but the Hoosiers are at the Ohio State 22 after a 37-yard run from Kalon Black. Alongside Zach Browning and Andrew Hillsman, I'm Nick Rodecap. Coming out of this media timeout, Indiana, it feels like you've got to pay this drive off with a touchdown after the big gain from Kalon Black.
Yeah, Indiana averaging 6.6 yards per carry, Nick. Sack adjusted, of course. But Indiana, it was a large question coming in. Could they run against this Ohio State front seven? So far, again, through just 15 minutes, the answer has been yes.
Indiana blown out at Ohio State 38-15 last year. Curt Cignetti said a big part of that was Ohio State controlling the game at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 9, Indiana at the Ohio State 22. The Hoosiers break huddle. Mendoza in the shotgun, a tight formation, 1 receiver to the near side left, and Mendoza takes the snap. He hands off to Roman Hemby, running off right guard. He gets out across the 20 to the 19 before he is pile driven into the ground by the defensive end, Caden Curry. Curry playing with an extra gear so far in this game. He's been all over the place.
Well, you know, I mentioned it with our studio host, Ben Crew, in the pregame show. He likes to play in this building. He won 3 state championships in this building at Center Grove High School during his high school career. He is playing like a madman today.
So now 3rd down and 6, Indiana at the Ohio State 19-yard line. Ball between the hashes. The Hoosiers looking to break into this 7-3 Ohio State lead. Mendoza with Roman Hemby in the backfield. 2 receivers stacked to the right. 2 receivers spread out wide to the left for the Hoosiers. Now Mendoza claps his hands, takes the snap, he's back to pass, scanning the field, he's flushed out of the pocket, pressure all over, scrambling around, he's got nowhere to go, and he is sacked for a big loss. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. brings him down. That's one Miami native getting the better of another, and the Hoosiers once again have to settle for a field goal.
Well, it was Mendoza just kind of getting lost a little bit in that pocket. As soon as it breaks down and the tackles get south of him, he's got to go left or right. He can't just sit there and try to shuffle his feet around and try and find something downfield. He's got to escape the pocket a little bit earlier than that. That time it came back to bite him.
Kenyatta Jackson Jr. with his 11th tackle for loss of the season for the Buckeyes. And now Nico Radicic on to attempt a 40-yard field goal attempt, slightly inside the left hash. Radicic is ready. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick on the way. It's end over end, and it is no good. Radicic misses for the first time all season. Wow. Radicic was 13 of 13 this year. He was the only kicker to be perfect in the country, and he just hooked it left. Wow. So Indiana.
It looked to me, Nick, like the hold was good. It looked like McCarthy got the laces pointed where they needed to be, but just a little too much to the left for Nico Radicic.
That is Nico's first miss of the season. He has been nearly automatic for the Hoosiers in his career, but Indiana comes up empty on that drive. And how big is the sack from Kenyatta Jackson to force that field goal attempt? 13:31 until halftime. Ohio State will get the ball, leading 7-3 when we come back. You're listening to the Big Ten Championship game on WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, Indiana trails Ohio State 7-3. Both of these teams extremely well coached, and for more on that, we send it down to Ben Haller.
Yes, thanks, Nick. For Ohio State, you do still see Brian Hartline on the sideline calling the plays for the Buckeyes. He will stay for the rest of the season, although he just named the head coach for University of South Florida. Big storyline this offseason with everything with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss not letting him coach in the playoffs. Now, that's actually become more of a rarity. There will be another team in the playoffs in Tulane with John Sumrall, who will coach the rest of the playoffs, even though he is heading to Florida. It's not just head coaches, though. It's coordinators, too, and especially in the Big Ten. Oregon, another team that's going to play a lot, are going to play playoff games. Both of their coordinators were coached. Tosh LaPoy going to Cal, Will Stein going to Kentucky. But like Hartline, those two will stay the rest of the playoffs. Back to you guys.
Program's so successful, it's hard to keep your assistant coaches around, but Ryan Day has made this team even better than they were last year with defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Right there, the Buckeyes force a missed field goal for Indiana. And now Julian Sayin and Ohio State take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. 13:31 to go in the second quarter. 7-3 the Ohio State lead. Sayin and the Buckeyes break huddle. Two men in the backfield with Sayin. The running back behind him is C.J. Donaldson, one receiver to either side. Sayin takes the snap, hands off to Donaldson, running right up the gut, and he is met after a gain of a couple by Elijah Hardy, but he keeps the legs churning out to the 25. A gain of 4 on 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes.
Ohio State's running back room very deep. It didn't look like it was Jackson, but it fooled me as well. Donaldson was there, and the front seven is as good as it can be.
And now Sayin and the Buckeyes set up 2nd and 6 from their own 26-yard line. Sayin in the shotgun takes the snap. He fakes the handoff, drops back to pass. Looking deep, he's got Jeremiah Smith wide open, and he makes the catch at the 30. Cuts back inside across the field and brought down at the Indiana 23-yard line. Jeremiah Smith got the better of D'Angelo Pons that time as the safety Amari Farrell saved a touchdown. But hold on just a moment. There's a flag in the backfield.
This very well could be a hold. We'll get the call. It is not a hold.
And it's a personal foul penalty against Indiana. The referee, Ron Snodgrass, made the gesture as though it was a hit to the head. And so that is the 3rd crucial defensive penalty on Indiana in this game. The Buckeyes, after the shot play to Jeremiah Smith, a massive completion, and then the personal foul penalty on top of that.
It was on Mikhail Kamara.
Kamara had illegal hands to the face as he was trying to get his way into the backfield. He almost took Luke Montgomery, the left guard's helmet, off. So that is the penalty, and now Ohio State set up 1st and 10 at the Indiana 11. Clock ticking, 12.5 to go. The Buckeyes looking to add to their 7-3 lead. Sayin goes under center. In the I formation, Bo Jackson is the tailback. Sayin calling out for the snap. He takes it, hands off to Jackson, running behind the left side. He is brought down almost immediately. A gain of about 1 before Elijah Hardy got there. And Jackson tried to move the pile forward, but minimal gain on 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes.
Well, Hardy, again, able to clog up that running lane, and he saved a big play there. The offensive line did their job, but Hardy just made a great play. 2nd down and 8, Ohio State at the Indiana 9-yard line looking to extend this 7-3 lead. Jackson stays in the game. The Buckeyes go shotgun here. Jackson behind Julian Sayin in the backfield. Carnell Tate wide to the right. Jeremiah Smith all alone wide left. He's matched up with the cornerback Jamari Sharp. Might be one to watch. Sayin takes the snap. It's a stretch play. Running right is Bo Jackson, and he is brought down by Amari Farrell. A tackle for loss when Indiana absolutely needed it. And now the Buckeyes will face a 3rd and long. Nick, that's a tremendous play for Farrell to read the offensive line, realize that's a run play. It's a counter play to the weak side, and he got downhill fast enough to make that play.
They gave Jackson forward progress for a gain of 2, so 3rd and 6 from the Indiana 7-yard line. C.J. Donaldson, the power back into the game. 4 receivers, 2 wide to either side for Ohio State. These Indiana fans making some noise. Sayin, the shotgun snap, pressure off his blind side, rolling to his right. He's got pressure in his face, and down he goes. Isaiah Jones came screaming off the edge, and that is a huge stop for Indiana as the Buckeyes have to settle for a short field goal attempt.
That is such a wise play, Nick. Jones was out in coverage before Sayin took his eyes off of the defense. As soon as Sayin went to motion for that ball, he creeps in and rushes Sayin, and he's able to get to him before he got out of bounds.
So Jaden Fielding, the kicker out of League City, Texas, on to attempt a 30-yard field goal. 88% on field goal attempts this season. He's missed 1 from this range. Ball on the right hash. This will be a 30-yard attempt. Coming out of the hold of Joe McGuire. Awaiting the snap is Fielding. It's back. The ball is down. The kick in the air. A high arcing kick, and he drills it straight through into that blue and white All-State net. And with 10:08 to go in this first half, Ohio State now leads Indiana 10-3 as Jaden Fielding knocks through a 30-yard field goal attempt. We'll see if the Hoosiers can answer right back. You're listening to the Indiana-Ohio State Big Ten Championship game right here on WIUX. Back here at Lucas Oil Stadium, Ohio State leads Indiana 10-3 in the Big Ten Championship game. We've got 10:08 to go until halftime. Alongside Zach Browning and Andrew Hillsman, I'm Nick Rodecap. Ohio State just kicked a 30-yard field goal to extend its lead, and now the Hoosiers, guys, it feels like Indiana's kind of got its backs against the wall right here.
And it's a little bit of Indiana's own doing. You talk about the big play to Jeremiah Smith. Indiana electing to play one-on-one coverage with perhaps the most talented offensive player in the entire country. And Indiana also 3 early penalties in this first half, Nick, for a team that averages just 3.7 on the year.
Indiana, one of the 10 least penalized teams in the country. Very uncharacteristic for them. Ohio State will kick off after the field goal. Jaden Fielding will send it in the air left to right as we see it. Roman Hemby is back deep for the Hoosiers. And Indiana responding to adversity has been a key. Both of these teams undefeated. The Hoosiers much more tested than Ohio State has been. Let's see if Indiana can answer the call once again. Fielding sends the ball high and end over end toward the far side end zone where it bounces untouched for a touchback. And Indiana will take over 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line. Fernando Mendoza and this Hoosier offense relatively quiet so far.
And it's interesting to point out, Nick, 13 rushes for Indiana so far today. 8 throws. Fernando Mendoza hasn't been great. He's completed just 3 of those 8 attempts. He's got to find a rhythm.
Mendoza was hit hard in the backfield on the first play from scrimmage. Had to go to the sideline briefly. Wonder if maybe he's a little banged up trying to play through it. Hoosiers break huddle. 1st and 10, ball on the right hash at the 25-yard line. 2 receivers wide to the right, 1 to the near side left. Mendoza in the gun with the running back Roman Hemby to his left. Mendoza's ready. The snap is back. Mendoza drops to pass. He's looking to the far side. The pass is caught by the California transfer, Jonathan Brady. Indiana moves the chains with a nice gain of 12 as Brady is forced to the sideline by Caleb Downs, but a good start to the drive for the Hoosiers.
And I'm curious because Jonathan Brady's into this game. Obviously no Omar Cooper right now for the Hoosiers, but no E.J. Williams either. He was off the availability report, but clearly not 100%.
Jonathan Brady, second team All Big Ten, not as a receiver, but as a return specialist. First and 10, Indiana now at its own 39-yard line. Two receivers wide to the left, one to the near side right. Hemby is the tailback to Mendoza's left side. A tight end on the line of scrimmage goes in motion from left to right, and Mendoza takes a head-high snap. Quick pressure, he's flushed from the pocket. Rolling to his right, a flag flies as Mendoza throws it away. And Zach Browning, I'm thinking, flag in the backfield as the quarterback was trying to scramble. Might be a hold against Indiana.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that left side of the offensive line potentially as the culprit.
Caden McDonald was on a rush. Yeah, it is going to be a hold. And that's going to go, I think, on Bray Lynch.
It's the right side of the offensive line.
Indiana's interior offensive line play has been challenged at times this season. Bray Lynch, very experienced. He started all 25 games Indiana's played over the last 2 years. The Indiana fans don't like the call. They've been very vocal. In any case, 1st and 20, and the Hoosiers backed up to their own 29-yard line now. Mendoza in the gun, Hemby to his left. Three receivers in the formation for the Hoosiers. Buckeyes showing a little bit of pressure right here. Mendoza takes the snap, he fakes the pass and hands off. It's a draw play. Hemby running right, gets outside the numbers to about the 35 before he's tackled by 3 or 4 Ohio State defenders. Arvell Reese, one of the first to meet Hemby as he got to the second level.
And, Nick, I think that's the first time you've called Arvell Reese's name. That's the guy who's going to be the first non-quarterback taken at the draft next year. Indiana's done a good job of neutralizing him so far.
Reese, the Big Ten linebacker of the year, getting compared by Joel Klatt to guys like Micah Parsons and Abdul Carter. That's good company to be in. Hemby remains in the game as the Indiana running back. 2nd down and 13. Two receivers near side left, one to the far side right. Riley Nowakowski is the tight end split out in the slot to the left. Mendoza takes the snap, back to pass, checks it down in the flat to Hemby, who gets past the 35 to the 36, shoved out of bounds by Davison Igbinosin. Caden Curry also dropping into coverage there to get the running back as well. 3rd down and 6 for the Hoosiers, just shy of midfield. Very pivotal down in this game.
Yeah, good to see as well. E.J. Williams back on the field on that snap, running a quick little slant route. I got to imagine this is a play call coming up from Shanahan that's going to just get the ball out of Mendoza's hands quick.
10-3 Ohio State, 8:15 to go in this second quarter. The Hoosiers trying to answer. Mendoza in the gun, 3 receivers left, one to the far side right, and Fernando Mendoza. Hands out in front of that white jersey. He takes the snap. It's a design rollout to the left. He fires to the sideline. It's caught by Charlie Becker across the 50 to the 47 of Ohio State. A timely first down completion to the sophomore from Nashville.
And that's where Indiana might have an advantage in this game. You target the freshman cornerback, Devin Sanchez, in that situation. I think Indiana likes that matchup with Becker and Sanchez.
Sanchez, the freshman out of Houston, the top cornerback in the country in his high school recruiting class. 7:42 to go in this second quarter. Indiana trails Ohio State 10-3 into plus territory at the Ohio State 47-yard line. Mendoza in the shotgun, 2 receivers out wide. Kalon Black is the running back. Mendoza, a high snap, handoff to Black, running right, trying to get off tackle, but there is nothing there. Black picks up maybe a yard before he is brought down from behind. Arvell Reese coming across the line of scrimmage to hold Black to a minimal gain. Remember, he ripped off that 37-yard run earlier in this one. And they gave Kalon Black 2, so up to the Ohio State 45-yard line as the clock ticks towards 7 minutes to go in this first half. Hoosiers break huddle. Mendoza talking to his offensive lineman as he backs up into the shotgun. Kalon Black to his right. Receivers tight to the formation, 2 to the left and 1 to the right. Now a receiver motions across the line of scrimmage from left to right. A shotgun snap. Mendoza fakes the handoff, and he completes the pass to Jonathan Brady. As Brady motioned out of the backfield right there, and Mendoza links up with his old Cal teammate. This will be 3rd and just a couple for the Hoosiers. Indiana going up tempo now. No huddle for the Hoosiers. Ohio State trying to substitute, and now they're ready to go quickly. Mendoza, shotgun snap. He's back to pass, scanning the field. Rolling right, pressure in his face. He fires across his body, out of bounds and incomplete. Sonny Styles put the pressure on Mendoza right there. The Butkus Award semifinalist. Mendoza had no chance but to throw it away. 4th and 2 right here, and it looks like Indiana keeps the offense out there.
Yeah, Nick, it looks like Sonny Styles, a QB spy on that one for Fernando Mendoza. Also, Ademola Ajani in at right guard for Bray Lynch right now.
4th and 2. These Ohio State fans making noise. Hoosiers going for it on the plus side of the 50. Mendoza in the gun. 3 receivers in the formation. The tailback to his right side is Kalon Black. Mendoza clapped, tried to get an Ohio State defender to jump offside, but they are not going to do it, and Indiana calls timeout. The Ohio State fans making noise. Andrew Hillsman, what do you see?
Well, it was one of those plays where I think it looked to me it was either Edric Houston or Caden McDonald, one of the defensive tackles, jumped into the neutral zone, but it didn't matter because Mendoza didn't get the clap of the snap.
We have timeout on the field, 4th and 2 from the Ohio State 39. Indiana trailing 10-3 with 6:27 to go until halftime. Guys, this feels like a pivotal moment in this game. With Indiana's long kick specialist, I should say, Brendan Franke, being injured. Remember, he made a 58-yarder against Oregon. This would be from similar distance, but Nico Radicic, the only healthy first-team kicker, he can't make from that far. So, big decision coming for the Hoosiers. While we have a moment, we'll send it down to the field where the 4th member of our crew, Ben Haller, is waiting.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, we're waiting to see what Indiana does here on 4th down. Last offensive play for Ohio State here on the sideline. We saw Julian Sayin lose his shoe. He limped pretty badly over to the Ohio State sideline. He now has white tape wrapped around both ankles sitting on the bench. There's tape on both ankles, so we'll see how that affects his movement if he even goes back out for the next drive for OSU when they get the ball back. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ben. And if Sayin can't go, I mean, we've seen now both quarterbacks be banged up in this game. Mendoza took a hit up high, missed a play. Sayin lost his shoe, came up hobbled right there. It would be Lincoln Keyholtz, the junior, who's appeared in 7 games this season, if Sayin can't go. Got about 1:30 on this media timeout, and I feel like if you're Curt Cignetti and you're in this situation as Indiana, you cannot punt in this situation given how amazingly good Ohio State's offense has been this season.
Yeah, Nick, I think you have to trust your offense. You put the ball in the hands of the guy who you think is your Heisman candidate in Fernando Mendoza, and you say, look, Fernando, go make a play. I've talked about it already, Nick. This might be one of those scenarios where you have a design QB run. We've seen it a lot. It's how Indiana scored their first touchdown against Oregon. It was a design QB power up the middle. Now, of course, if I'm talking about it, Ohio State has it in the back of their heads. Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, but it's just a thought. Indiana could go that direction.
These two teams, 1st and 2nd nationally in success rate, and Ohio State 1st in the country in 3rd down efficiency. And what that tells you is they're really good at keeping their offenses on the field. And for Indiana, 4th and 2 from the Ohio State 39. The Hoosiers tried to draw Ohio State off sides right there, but Ohio State did not jump. Curt Cignetti called a timeout, and as we look at the huddle, Indiana keeps the offense out there. They're going to go for it.
I think this is absolutely the right choice. You're right. Indiana cannot punt.
Aditomola Ajani, we mentioned that we saw him at right guard. He's usually the backup left guard. But subbing in for Bray Lynch, who committed a penalty earlier in this game, it was illegal hands to the face. Curt Cignetti has shown in the past that he's got a short leash when it comes to those kinds of mistakes. Kalon Black is the running back for Indiana as the Hoosiers break huddle. Critical 4th and 2 right here. Indiana at the Ohio State 39, 6:27 to go until halftime. Ohio State leading 10-3.
It's about to get really darn loud.
Hoosiers break huddle, 2 receivers wide to the left, 2 tight ends in the formation for Indiana. Now Riley Nowakowski, one of those tight ends, motions to the left side. Mendoza in the shotgun, takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He fires to Nowakowski. He's got the first down. Out of bounds at the 31-yard line as Mendoza had pressure in his face, but he stood tall and delivered to the tight end.
Caden Curry in his face. We saw he threw a game winner as he got knocked down to the ground against Penn State. That was that caliber of throw getting hit as he's releasing the ball. A huge, huge play.
Mendoza was the most sacked quarterback in the country last year. He knows how to handle pressure. He's done it all season long for Indiana. 1st and 10, the Hoosiers at the Ohio State 30. A gain of 9 on 4th and 2. Charlie Becker, the receiver, out on the far side. 2 receivers wide to the near side left. Mendoza takes the snap, handoff Kalon Black. A quick burst of speed outside the numbers all the way to the 20-yard line before he's brought down by Sonny Styles. The safety, Jalen McClain, also had to come over right there. Back-to-back first downs, a gain of 9 on 1st down and 10, so 2nd and less than a yard for Indiana. Hoosiers go no huddle. Another handoff to Black. He shakes the first tackler, fighting back to the line of scrimmage. He did not get the first down. Sonny Styles held him short of the line to gain. And now 3rd and inches for the Hoosiers right here, right on the edge of the red zone.
It looked to me like there might have been a little bit of a jerk from Kalon Black's face mask there. I wasn't sure if it was, but they're going to give him the first down here.
A late change of the spot gives Indiana 1st and 10 at the Ohio State 20. Hoosier fans making some noise. Ball on the far side hash for Indiana. Roman Hemby is the running back in the shotgun with Fernando Mendoza. 3 receivers bunched to the near side on the left. Mendoza surveys a 5-man front, motions Hemby out wide to the right, and takes the snap. It's a quarterback draw, and Mendoza is tripped up in the backfield. Kenyatta Jackson Jr. bullied his way into Mendoza's face, and he's tackled for a loss on 1st and 10.
It was either that or just the turf monster got him. Have a look on the replay. Let's see. Wow.
Might have been the right foot of right tackle Zin Michalski.
It was either Michalski or Pat Coogan who got beat right there, but Mendoza loses 2. 4:20 to go. Indiana trailing Ohio State 10-3 in this second quarter. Mendoza in the shotgun, 4 receivers, 2 to either side for the Hoosiers. And Mendoza claps his hands, takes a chest-high snap, looking to the right side, brings his eyes back to the left, and he's got pressure, and he is sacked. Caden McDonald and Caden Curry get to Mendoza once again. I'll tell you what, Caden Curry has been shot out of a cannon all game long so far.
And it's been that right side of the offensive line. Zin Michalski's had some issues. It looks like Zin Michalski's going to go out of the game right now for Indiana. But Adida the Mullah Ajani, he's struggled a little bit since coming in. Bray Lynch, too. That left side has been stout. It's the right side where Indiana has had the issues.
Hoosiers going backwards. 3rd and 15 from the Ohio State 25, and here come the Buckeye fans. Mendoza in the shotgun. Khalil Benson now in at right tackle. 4 receivers in the formation for Indiana. Mendoza takes the snap, drops back. He fires underneath to Riley Nowakowski, trying to get across the field. He stays on his feet, slips a tackler, and gets out of bounds at the 13-yard line. Caleb Downs cut him off. But Nowakowski needed to get to the 10. He came up 3 yards short of doing so. And on comes the kicking unit once again. So the 4th down conversion gets Indiana into field goal range, but the Hoosiers cannot pay it off with a touchdown. And here comes Nico Radicic, who, remember, just moments ago, missed his first field goal of the season.
This one only slightly longer, or this one much shorter that time. This will be 32 yards. He missed from 40, made from 29. So this a little easier.
From the right side hash, a 32-yard field goal. Bad hold. It barely got up in time for Mitch McCarthy, but Nico Radicic knocks through a knuckleball, and Indiana's back to within 4 points. 2:47 to go in this second quarter. It's 10-6 Ohio State as Radicic makes his second of 3 field goal attempts in this game. And Zach Browning, it feels like Indiana settling for field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. That could come back to bite them.
It's exactly what bit Michigan last week. Michigan had opportunities in the red zone, and Ohio State's defense stood strong, and that's exactly what lost the Wolverines that game last week. Ohio State is too good. They're not as elite offensively as they are defensively, Nick, but they're good enough offensively, still one of the top offensive units in the country, that you just can't hang around with them for too long if you're only going to get 3 points.
Ohio State, one of the slowest pace of play teams in the FBS. They rank 128th in that department. They play really slowly, but they're really efficient. They stay on the field, they bleed the clock, and they break your will.
Well, that was, I think, designed. This looks a little different. Ohio State playing with great pace thus far, but I read an article earlier in the year. Ohio State, through the middle of the year, had played a game less full of snaps compared to the rest of the country just because they were so good at bleeding that clock.
Indiana's Quinn Warren in to kick off. It's a knuckleball kick that lands 3 yards deep in the end zone. It's a touchback. Ohio State taking over with 2:47 on the clock in this second quarter, trying to add to this 10-6 lead over Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. Julian Sayin, the Ohio State quarterback, we heard from Ben Haller, lost his shoe on Ohio State's last offensive snap. Came to the sideline, got his ankles pretty heavily taped up as he looked a little bit hobbled. We'll see how that affects him right here.
He's still got that tape. I'm looking at my binoculars here.
And so Sayin and the Buckeyes break huddle, 1st and 10. Isaiah West is the tailback behind Julian Sayin. 2 receivers wide to the left, and Jeremiah Smith wide to the right by himself. Sayin lifts his right leg, takes the snap, fakes the handoff to West, throws toward the boundary. It's caught by Carnell Tate outside the numbers, across the 35. A first down for the Ohio State wide receiver. Byron Baldwin, the freshman, brings him down, but the Buckeyes move the chains.
And let me tell you, Nick, Byron Baldwin was a couple of inches away from a potential pick six there. He read that. He jumped the route, just not quite there in time. And also in that last play, saw a little bit more safety help over the top for D'Angelo Pons than we've been accustomed to seeing so far today.
Pons got beat on a deep shot earlier in this game, the biggest gain of the day for Ohio State, as Sayin hooked up with Jeremiah Smith. Sayin in the shotgun, the clock at 2:12, the play clock at 14 seconds. Ohio State does not have to snap it before the 2-minute timeout. Game clock at 2:04, Sayin with a hard count, Indiana not biting, and so that will take us to the 2-minute timeout in this first half. Ohio State trying to add some more before the break, and remember, they will get the ball to start the second half, will the Buckeyes. So a chance to win the middle eight, which is something Ryan Day preaches. The last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. We'll take a quick break here from Lucas Oil Stadium. Ohio State leading 10-6 with the ball, trying to add some more. You're listening to the Big Ten Championship on WIUX. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Ohio State leads Indiana 10-6 in the Big Ten Championship, coming out of the 2-minute timeout here in the second quarter. Alongside Zach Browning and Andrew Hillsman, I'm Nick Rodecap. Ben Haller is roaming the sidelines for us. And guys, Ohio State, they've got the ball right now. They'll get the ball to start the second half. You want to win the middle eight, here's your chance to do it and separate yourself from Indiana.
Yeah, this is a prove-it drive if you're the Indiana defense. You have been the second-ranked defense or one of the top-ranked defenses all season long. Brian Haynes wants to prove that he's a true candidate and a finalist for the Broyles Award. This is his chance to do it.
Brian Haynes, the Indiana defensive coordinator who successfully stymied Oregon somehow. That's something teams have had a very difficult time doing, but he made life very tough for Oregon quarterback Dante Moore at Autzen Stadium just shy of 2 months ago.
And good news for Indiana. Looks like the regular safety rotation is back out there. Lou Moore back on the field along with Amari Farrell. So that is great news for Brian Haynes' defense.
Seen freshman Byron Baldwin Jr. get some snaps as well.
He made a great play there, too, as well, to almost pick that one off.
Buckeyes go empty. 5 wide receivers, and now the running back Bo Jackson motions behind Julian Sayin on first down and 10 from Ohio State's own 36. Sayin adjusting protections at the line of scrimmage. Now back in the shotgun, lifts his right leg, takes the snap. It's a stretch play, running left. Jackson gets to the second level, but no further. He picks up about 4 yards as he's brought down near the sideline at the 40. Lewis Moore and Elijah Hardy on the stop for Indiana.
And is this a little bit of a concession here from Ohio State to put the ball on the ground? No timeouts called?
Indiana, the second best
Very
rush
well could
defense in the country, and Ohio State, middle of the pack rushing offense in the Big Ten. So maybe trying to lull Indiana to sleep and then throw it over the top. Sayin in the shotgun on second down and 6. James Peoples into the game to the left side of Julian Sayin. Jeremiah Smith wide to the right. Carnell Tate tight to the line of scrimmage on the left. Tate comes in motion from left to right. Sayin back to pass. He looks right. He's got nothing there, and he's sacked again by Isaiah Jones. The second sack of the day for Jones, who grew up less than an hour from Ohio State's campus, maybe playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder here tonight.
Nick, he said he grew up an Ohio State fan, and now he's got the opportunity, after not being recruited by Ohio State originally coming out of high school, to, as you mentioned, play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
Ohio State at its own 38-yard line, third down and 8. The power back, C.J. Donaldson, in there once again. 2 receivers wide to the right, Jeremiah Smith alone on the left side. 44 seconds to go in this second quarter. Ohio State leading 10-6. Indiana trying to get the ball back. Play clock at 3. Sayin takes the snap. He drops back. He's got some time. He throws toward the far sideline. Incomplete. Out of bounds over the head of Jeremiah Smith. Indiana's defense stands tall. 32 seconds left until halftime, and the Hoosiers get a chance to take the lead before the break.
Well, it's going to be tough to do because I got to imagine the Gunners here for Ohio State are going to be able to get to John Brady, force a fair catch. So, I mean, we've seen Brady pull off some miracles, but maybe not against as good of a special teams unit as Ohio State. We'll see what happens.
The punter is Joe McGuire, the Australian native, standing back at his own 23-yard line on the left hash. Play clock at 7 seconds. McGuire now slides a little bit to his right. The play clock is at 3. They've got to snap it, and the Buckeyes do, and the play is whistled dead.
Timeout.
Ryan Day wanted a timeout. The Ohio State head coach did not like what he saw.
I didn't think he liked where his blockers were set up as well. It looked like it was well off to the other side.
And this is important to note. Indiana, one of the best punt block teams over the last handful of years. Since 2021, 10 blocked punts for Indiana. That's top 10 in the entire country in that stretch.
Indiana put itself back on the map nationally this year with that big 63-10 win over then number 9 Illinois in prime time. What kick-started Indiana in that game other than a blocked punt returned for a touchdown by D'Angelo Pons? So Ohio State wanted to talk things over. Now McGuire back on the field, ready to punt this thing away. He averages 42 yards per punt. Jonathan Brady standing back at his own 20. Mentioned Brady's been a good returner. He had a 91-yard touchdown on a punt return in week 1 against Old Dominion that kick-started Indiana when the offense was stagnant. McGuire back at his own 23. Plenty of time on the play clock to snap it this time, and the Buckeyes do. It's a rollout punt for McGuire. The ball's in the air, end over end. Brady signals for the fair catch and makes it just inside his own 15-yard line. 25 seconds on the clock in this second quarter, and we'll see if Indiana can do anything here. Sometimes you'll see teams just run it a couple times and go to the locker room.
If we remember back to Oregon, about 28, 29 seconds left in the half, Indiana aired it out. They got 3 points. Obviously, no Brandon Frankie. He hit that big 58-yarder heading into the half. But Indiana has been in this situation a little bit before earlier this year.
Indiana's taken a couple deep shots, one to Charlie Becker, one to Omar Cooper. Fernando Mendoza, the Hoosier quarterback, in the shotgun on 1st and 10. On his own 15-yard line, 25 seconds for the Hoosiers to try to break into this 10-6 deficit. Mendoza, a shotgun snap, handoff to Hemby, running behind the right guard. He's spun down at the 19, right between the hashes. Indiana not moving with any sense of urgency. It looks like the Hoosiers are getting set to go to the locker room. 13 seconds left in this second quarter. The clock continues to tick. Indiana has 2 timeouts, but will not use them. The Hoosier players walking to the sideline and to the locker room, and that brings the first half to a close. Ohio State leads Indiana 10-6. Both of these teams trying to improve to 13-0 and lock up the top spot in the college football playoff. Gentlemen, your first half thoughts?
Well, it's definitely not. It could be a lot worse for Indiana right now. They have played well defensively, but the front seven of both of these squads have been the difference maker. The sacks and forcing quarterback pressure, those 2 early picks, but going back and forth and just the ability to stem the momentum after those turnovers for these defenses has been really impressive.
You know, Nick, I think one of the biggest headlines coming into this game was Indiana ready this go-around? And I think this first half proved that Indiana is, in fact, more well-equipped, better equipped, and more prepared to handle the moment, to handle Ohio State, to handle the number 1 team in the country this year as opposed to last year.
14 Big Ten championship games in the books. Teams are 9-5 when leading at halftime. We'll see if Ohio State can make that a 10th win or if Indiana can win its first Big Ten championship game in program history. First half in the books. Zach Browning will have play-by-play for the second half. You are listening to the Big Ten championship football game on WIUX.
Back here in the Circle City, 30 minutes left to decide a Big Ten champion in this Big Ten championship match between the Hoosiers and the Buckeyes. Through the first half of play here in Lucas Oil Stadium, it's 10-6, Indiana trailing Ohio State after the first half an hour of action here at the 2025 Big Ten Championship. Zach Browning with you alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. But before we get to the second half action, let's send it down to the 4th member of our crew, Ben Haller.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Big second half coming up as both teams take the field. As they were going into the locker room, the focus for Indiana, it was on Zen Mahalski, and it was all encouragement. Mahalski got the starting nod at right tackle today with a fully healthy offensive line, and he's facing his old teammate in Caden Curry, and Curry is eating his lunch. It's 2 sacks, both tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. He's a big part of that front seven out of the big day so far for Ohio State. But Bob Bostad and the rest of the Indiana coaching staff, the fellow offensive linemen, were positive Mahalski coming out the field, telling them that first half's in the past, focus on the second half now. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ben. Back here in the booth, Zach Browning alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. Andrew, I'm going to come to you first. Andrew, what questions did you have answered in that game?
Well, it's tough to say, but the question that I had answer is how well these defenses going to play. Yeah, I'd say pretty well, Zach. The second level has just been what has been that difference maker. These linebackers are making all the difference tonight. It's exactly what I think we all expected, and it's going to be a test of attrition down the last stretch here.
Nick, I'll come to you next. What is one key for each side in this second half?
I think for Indiana defensively, you've got to limit the penalties. And this is an Indiana team that was one of the least penalized FBS teams, not just in the Big Ten, in the entire country. 44 total penalties in 12 games. And they've shot themselves in the foot repeatedly on defense. Illegal hands to the face mask, pass interference, things that we haven't really seen this year's Indiana do. And for Ohio State, well, you're the best third quarter team in the country. You break teams' wills in these upcoming 15 minutes. You've got the ball to start this third quarter. You're only up 4 right now, but if you can go up by 2 scores, if you can find the end zone again, with the way your defense has been playing, it's going to be really difficult for Indiana to mount a comeback.
We've got the best 2 third-quarter teams in the entire country. Ohio State outscoring their opponents 111-23 in the third frame this season. On the flip side, the Hoosiers outscoring their opponents 160-19 in the third quarter of play. This has been a period where both teams have dominated this season. It'll be the Buckeyes, the number 1 overall team in the country, to get the ball first to start this second half. Andrew, to me, one of the big storylines was the pass rush for both sides. Who could get to the quarterback more than the other team? So far, it's been a wash. 3 sacks for Indiana, 3 sacks for Ohio State.
Yeah, it has. And I didn't expect it to be, for those numbers to be that high. 3 and 3 is excellent. And you think about how Isaiah Jones has got 2. I think Caden Curry's got 2 as well. So those 2 are guys to watch. But I was talking to our studio host, Ben Kruer, at the halftime show. I think the key is just these first couple of drives for both of these teams, try and just get the ball out of the quarterback's hands as fast as possible, get the receivers in space, let them make some plays.
Brandon Ennis and Lorenzo Stiles back deep inside their own 5-yard line to receive a Quinn Warren kickoff to begin the second half. The Hoosiers will be moving right to left in your mind's eye. The Buckeyes countering left to right here in the second half. 30 minutes to crown a Big Ten champion. Warren puts his foot through this. It's a high end-over-end kick to the near side hash mark. Ennis takes it 5-yard line on the near side of the field. He pushes it towards that right hash mark up the field. A straight-ahead run tackled on the play by Byron Baldwin. But not before Brandon Ennis can get out to around the 25-yard line. They'll officially mark him down at the 26.5. That's where Julian Sayin will lead this Buckeye offense out onto the field for the first drive of the second half. Sayin and the Buckeyes break the huddle. The true freshman, Bo Jackson, behind Sayin. The redshirt freshman quarterback will line up under center with the receiver to either side of the formation. Carnell Tate in motion from the right to the left. Play action fake. Sayin rolls right. He's got Max Clare underneath. Across the 30, outside the numbers. Barreling his way towards the 35-yard line. That is not quite enough for a first down. Just shy of the yard to gain, about a half-yard short, so second and very short upcoming for Ohio State. Shotgun set here for Sayin. Right side hash, ball on the 36-yard line. It's 2nd and 1 for the Buckeyes. Clare in motion from the right side of the formation into the fullback spot. It's a handoff up the middle. Jackson starts left, cuts it back right, outside the numbers, across the 50, into Indiana territory. Bo Jackson across the 45-yard line of the Hoosiers before Amari Farrell brings him down, but not before a gain of 20-plus on the ground.
Bo Jackson approaching 1,000 rushing yards on the season. Ohio State's only had 4 other freshman running backs do that, and Zach, the last one, Travion Henderson. He's in really good company, and he showed why right there.
Bo Jackson, 8 carries, 45 yards now in this one. He's had 3 straight 100-yard games coming into this one. 1st and 10, right side hash, ball on the Indiana 44-yard line. 2 receivers on the field make that 3 as Max Clare goes from the tight end spot to the far side left. It's a play-action fake. Sayin drops back. He's pressured. Landino gets to him and brings him down at midfield.
And it looks like Kamara is a little slow to get up. He will be helped up, which is a good sign for Indiana. But, I mean, just tremendous pressure getting through the block in the middle, and Landino was there. Daniel Ndukwe will take Kamara's spot as he is limping off the field, and he's going to have to get some help.
Kamara's dealt with a shoulder
like
injury.
He's favoring his left leg.
throughout much of the season. This looks like it's different than that. That's at number 5 on the year for Mario Landino, the sophomore out of Pennsylvania. The Buckeyes break the huddle, facing a 2nd and 15 just on the Indiana side of the field. The ball spotted on the 49-yard line. 3 receivers on the field. Bo Jackson alongside Sayin to his left. Sayin takes a snap. He's pressured again. Back deep in his own territory. He breaks free of Stephen Daly. He gets it off towards the near side sideline and out of play. Julian Sayin avoids a massive loss. He had Stephen Daly right in his grill, but he threw it away.
Zach, I want to tell you, oh, wait, there's a late flag, so hold that thought.
This may be intentional grounding. They're moving him back.
And we'll wait for the call before I say what I was going to say. It looked like they did get him for intentional grounding. This looks like it's about 2nd and 30? 3rd and 29. Intentional grounding is a loss of down. Indiana's quarterback pressure has been phenomenal so far in this game.
It might have even been an illegal hands of the face there as Stephen Daly got towards Sayin. Buckeyes facing a 3rd and 29 here on their own 37-yard line on the first drive of the second half. Ball spotted in between the hash marks. 3 wide receivers set. Sayin checks it down. Left side, C.J. Donaldson. And we have a play blown dead in the middle of the play. The referee's late with the whistle.
On a
Kurt
timeout.
Signetti called a timeout.
Wow. Kurt Signetti came screaming toward the line of scrimmage there.
Good eye, Nick.
He's very animated on the line of scrimmage, and he's been pacing up and down like a madman, as you might expect. I think I just saw his bald spot grow by a couple inches, but he obviously didn't like the pre-snap look, and for the referees to let that ball get snapped before blowing it dead is interesting. What I was going to say before the whistle was Ohio State's given up 6 sacks in this game, or excuse me, 6 sacks on the season entering this game. Indiana's defense has sacked Julian Sayin 5 times. So 12 games, 6 sacks allowed. This evening, we're in the second half, 5 sacks allowed. Indiana's defensive front is causing all kinds of problems.
If there was any questions about whether or not Indiana's defensive front could hang with an offensive line like Ohio State, I think that question has been answered with a resounding yes so far in this one. Both teams break their timeout huddles. Again, 3rd and 29 here for Ohio State. 12-14 to play in the third quarter. It's Buckeyes leading 10-6 over the Hoosiers' first drive of the second half. Ohio State on their own 37-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. It's Jeremiah Smith against D'Angelo Pons on the far side of the field. C.J. Donaldson, the lone tailback. Sayin takes a snap, drops back underneath. He's got Jeremiah Smith in between the hash marks and the numbers, shy of the 40-yard line. That's where he'll be brought down. Jamari Sharp, the first Hoosier, in on the tackle. So with 12 minutes and counting to play in the third quarter, Ohio State will be forced to punt on 4th and 28.
Well, Zach, we talked about it when we went to break, and winning that middle 8 is something so crucial for Indiana and Ohio State as well. But for Smith to be able to be brought down by Jamari Sharp that quick is really impressive.
Awkward formation here on the punt for Joe McGuire and the Buckeyes. Jonathan Brady will watch it bounce at the 10-yard line, take a slight Indiana hop forward to the 11, which is where Fernando Mendoza and the Indiana offense will come out to start their first offensive possession of the second half. But not before we've got our first media timeout of this third quarter. 11:32 left to play in the third period here. The Big Ten Championship, a Big Ten title on the line. It's 10-6 Ohio State over Indiana. We'll be back in just a moment on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, set for the first offensive drive of the second half for the Indiana Hoosiers, who are trailing the Ohio State Buckeyes 10-6 with 11:32 left to play in the third quarter. Zach Browning with you alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. The Hoosiers will start this drive, Nick, from their own 12-yard line.
Long way to go for Indiana. This offense has been forced to settle for field goals. Niko Radicic missed one of those, and you've got to find the end zone if you're Indiana. It sounds obvious, but the offense hasn't really been able to string a lot of plays together like they've been so proficient at doing this season.
Fernando Mendoza and the Indiana offense. Mendoza 9 for 15, 87 yards and an interception so far in this one as the Hoosiers break the huddle. 1st and 10 from their own 12 on the right side hash. Mendoza takes the first down snap, turns, hands it off. It's Hemby right side of the line across the 15, continuing to get some push from his offensive line. Down to the 17 goes Hemby, a gain of about 5 on first down before Taiwan Malone can bring him down.
Great job by Hemby of keeping the legs moving, because the point of contact there was only a couple yards beyond the line of scrimmage, but he kept his legs churning and got about 5 out of that. That's a really good first down run.
Sets up 2nd and 5 as we tick towards 11 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's an empty set for Indiana here. 3 wide receivers to the left side of the formation, 2 to the right now. Hemby motions from the right end of the backfield alongside Fernando Mendoza. 2nd and 5 from the 17, right side hash. Mendoza takes the snap, handoff up the middle, left side of the offensive line. Hemby is brought down relatively quickly by Caden McDonald, just shy of that 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Hoosiers.
Indiana doing a good job there with the run. 3rd down and manageable. Now you can go either way. This team is one of the best RPO, run pass option teams in all of college football, and Ohio State has been very wary of that.
The ball spotted just inside the right side hash. The Hoosiers, they're going right to left. 3rd down and 2 from their own 20-yard line. It's Hemby flanking Mendoza to his right. 3 receivers on the near side of the field for Mendoza. 3rd down and 2. Shotgun snap. Mendoza takes it. He drops back to pass. Pressure picked up. Mendoza's looking deep. Left side seam. He's got Charlie Becker. He made the catch inside the 30. Lorenzo Stiles, the man in coverage, but Fernando Mendoza hits Charlie Becker for a big-time play. The Hoosiers are inside the Ohio State 30. A gain of 51 on the pass and catch. The Hoosiers go up tempo. 1st and 10 from the Ohio State 29. It's Hemby in the backfield alongside Mendoza. Snap, handoff. Hemby right side has a little bit of room to run across the 25. He pushes forward. The legs keep churning inside the 20. He's got enough for the first down as the Hoosiers are in business. They're in the red zone.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, Zach, but Roman Hemby meets the initial wave of tacklers and just keeps moving. A phenomenal job of running the football. Back-to-back big plays, and now this Indiana offense has some rhythm.
Kaylon Black checks into the game at running back. Mendoza up to 138 yards through the air after that 51-yard bomb to Becker. 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers on the Ohio State 19-yard line. Ball spotted middle of the field in between both hashes. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Mendoza takes a snap. Handoff right side for Black. He's met at around the line of scrimmage by Sonny Stiles and Davison Igbinosun before he's brought down for about a gain of 2 on 1st down.
Well, that time, you go back to the run after a big pass play. That's a traditional call. You pick up 2, and now I got to imagine you go back to the RPO here if you're Shanahan.
One thing to keep in mind, Indiana without Omar Cooper Jr., barely able to walk. Indiana's one of their best receivers done for the day.
2nd and 8 for Indiana. 17-yard line of the Buckeyes. Right side hash. 3 receivers to the left and a bunch set. 1 to the right. Black in the backfield alongside Mendoza. It's a fake to him. Mendoza has all day to throw. He escapes left. He's pressured and throws it away outside of the hash marks towards the near side sideline and out of play. Elijah Surratt in the area. It almost looked like Fernando Mendoza there, Andrew, had too much time.
Yeah, he did, and I think it got him a little confused on where to go. It's that pocket presence that would probably be, I think, the weakest part of his game, where he's got to maybe roll out to the other side and get out of that pocket area a little faster.
That was one of the things Curt Cignetti said Mendoza needed to improve upon when he got to Indiana, was that pocket presence.
He was sacked the most of any quarterback in the country last year at the Power Conference level at Cal. 3rd and 8 from the 17. It'd be about a 35-yard field goal for Nicholas Radicic. Shotgun set for Indiana. 4 receivers on the field. Kaylon Black flanks Mendoza to his right. Snap, near side corner. Elijah Surratt goes up in the end zone. Touchdown, Elijah Surratt. He won the one-on-one matchup with Jermaine Matthews, and the Hoosiers have the lead in the second half.
Wow! I'll break the silence. That was unbelievable by Elijah Surratt. Waffle House, he somehow created separation on Jermaine Matthews Jr.
Matthews was begging for a push-off call.
That was an unbelievable acrobatic catch. He got his back turned to the defender and hauled it in with 2 hands. Phenomenal play by Surratt.
Nicholas Radicic on for the extra point. It is good. 13-10, the Indiana lead. A lot of the headlines go towards Jeremiah Smith on the other sideline at receiver. Elijah Surratt, he's saying anything you can do, I can do better. Elijah Surratt, a touchdown reception here in the second half. A big 17-yard score, a connection from Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Surratt has Indiana on top. here in the third quarter. 8:02 left to play in quarter number 3. It's 13-10 Indiana over Ohio State. We'll take a quick break here on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, Fernando Mendoza leading a 7-play, 88-yard drive, culminating in a 17-yard touchdown strike to Waffle House Elijah Surratt to give Indiana a 13-10 lead with 8:02 left to play in the third quarter of this Big Ten championship. Zach Browning with you alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. Gentlemen, Ohio State, they've been ranked number 1 in the country for 14 straight weeks. They've won 16 consecutive games dating back to last streak. That's the longest streak in the country. But this is the first time in their last 16 games, that 16-game win streak, that they've trailed in the second half. Nick, that's incredible.
Kurt Cignetti said Ohio State this season really hasn't been challenged outside of maybe the Texas game and a little bit early on against Illinois. Well, here's your chance. How does Julian Sayin, that young quarterback who they call the baby-faced assassin, how does he respond to uncharted territory, adversity that he has not faced as a starting quarterback at the collegiate level? Indiana's defense played so well on that first series of the second half, and we'll see if they can keep it going.
You talk about one of the storylines and one of the big things on the line in this game, the Heisman Trophy likely on the line in this game. That was a Heisman type of drive from Fernando Mendoza to give his Hoosiers the lead as Quinn Warren boots this one away right to left. Brandon Ennis will receive on the big D logo in Indiana in the end zone. We'll come out to the 25-yard line. That's where Julian Sayin and the Buckeyes will look to answer. Andrew, how do they have to get it done?
Well, it's going to be tough because it is about to get very, very loud. This is, we kind of noticed it. We're trying to figure it out the whole time. This is a very pro-Indiana crowd. Should it come really to no surprise?
Probably maybe 67-33, the split.
It has to be, I mean, it's got to be at least 2/3 Indiana fans, and Ohio State has their work cut out for them.
It's 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes on their own 25-yard line. Bo Jackson in the game alongside Sayin. 3 wide receivers set. It's a shotgun look for Sayin. He takes the snap. It's a handoff left side. Jackson outside the left side tackle along the left side hash. He's brought down across the 30 by Jamari Sharp. A solid gain of about 7 on first down.
Well, Sharp got to the legs of Bo Jackson that time. That was dangerous because really nobody was behind him, and he saved a big play there, did Jamari Sharp. That's impressive.
Bo Jackson up to 52 yards on the ground as a team. The Buckeyes sack adjusted right about 5 yards per carry. 2nd and 3 upcoming from the 32. Ball spotted on the left side hash. 2 receivers to the right side of the formation for Sayin. He takes a snap. It's another handoff left side, and this time Jackson's met in the backfield behind the line of scrimmage. Elijah Hardy, the first one to get him. 3rd and 3 upcoming.
Ohio State's offensive line play has not been very consistent in this game. You heard about it as one of the weaknesses for them early in the season. Indiana starting to win up front. Whatever Bryant Haynes, the defensive coordinator, is doing, it's working really well right now.
They'll call it officially 3rd down and 4 from the Ohio State 31, looking to avoid punting on back-to-back possessions to open the second half. 2 receivers to either side of the pattern for Sayin. It's C.J. Donaldson flanking him to his right. Ball spotted left side hash. 6 to go on the play clock. Sayin takes a snap, fires left side across the line to gain. He's got a target, Brandon Ennis, across the line to gain, across that 35, outside the numbers. It moves the chains for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, Ennis established his body ahead of that line and then got driven straight back, but just enough to pick up that first down on a quick throw and catch. That's why Sayin's been so good. He's so accurate on those quick short throws.
The most accurate quarterback in the country, perhaps the most accurate quarterback in college football history statistically. Isaiah West in the backfield for Sayin. He's under center. He takes a snap on 1st and 10 from the left side hash. Play action fake near side. It's Kazmarek. Check that. That's Max Clare near sideline across the 50-yard line. Pushed out of bounds by Amari Farrell inside the 45. Down to the 44 of Indiana goes Max Clare.
Julian Sayin on that drop back did a fantastic job of selling the play fake. It looked like 5 or 6 Indiana defenders thought it was a handoff. That's something Sayin is really good at, is selling those play action passes.
Ohio State was in a similar spot last drive before a couple of backwards plays forced them to punt. 1st and 10 from the 44 of Indiana. Right side hash. Pistol look for Sayin. It's a handoff right side. Isaiah West met in the backfield and driven backwards by the first team All Big Ten defensive lineman Tyreek Tucker. Officially a loss of 2 on first down.
It's a big play for Indiana in that spot. You felt like Ohio State starting to roll a little bit, and that TFL gets them behind the chains. Now they're going to have to go a little bit off schedule. Indiana's front seven doing a really good job right there.
Tackle for loss number 8 for Indiana in this one. Second down and 12. 46-yard line of the Hoosiers. Right side hash. Indiana leading 13-10 with 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. 2 receivers to the left for Sayin, 1 to the right. It's D'Angelo Pons versus Jeremiah Smith on the right side. That's where Sayin will go. Back shoulder throw. It is caught in bounds by Jeremiah Smith. He wins the one-on-one battle again inside the 30-yard line, enough to move the chains. Another big connection from Sayin to Smith.
Jeremiah Smith is so skilled when he breaks away from his route stem. He's able to create separation on a truly elite cornerback in D'Angelo Pons. And Smith knows it. That was a tough play, and Sayin delivers the ball right where it needs to be.
That's 6'3", 223 in Smith versus 5'9", 173 in Pons. First and 10 now for the Buckeyes inside the Indiana 30 at the 27. Right side hash. Sayin takes a snap, fires quickly right side. It's Max Clare in the flat across the 25 towards the 20-yard line. Clare stays in bounds. The clock keeps rolling as Clare goes down just inside that 20-yard line at about the 19.5.
Now Ohio State starting to take big chunks out of this Indiana defense right there. The Hoosiers sent pressure off the right side of the Ohio State offensive line. Sayin threw that ball right behind the pressure. That's a really good job of knowing where to go with the football.
Bo Jackson the back flanking Sayin to his left in a shotgun set. 2 receivers to the left. It's Tate and Smith. Will Kazmarek on the right side of the offensive line at tight end. Sayin takes the 2nd and 2 snap. Handoff up the middle. Bo Jackson, a shoestring tackle just inside the 20-yard line. Just saved a touchdown for the Hoosiers. Bo Jackson almost had a head of steam pushing towards the end zone, but Hosea Wheeler grabbed him by his shoelaces to bring him down at around the 19-yard line, officially a gain of nothing.
And Andrew, you talked about Indiana going at the legs of Bo Jackson, how dangerous that is. It almost cost him 6 points right there.
They did give Jackson about a yard and a half, so enough to move the chains. It's first down and 10 from the Indiana 14-yard line. Pistol look here for Sayin. Bo Jackson in the backfield. Sayin takes a snap. Play action fake. He rolls right, throws back across the middle. He's got a tight end inside the 10. It's Kazmarek. Tackled immediately at around the 7-yard line as the Buckeyes keep it moving.
Well, Kazmarek and these tight ends are looking to become more of a safety valve here in the second half. It's worked a lot better, and Ohio State is in a threatening spot.
The Buckeyes face a 2nd down and 3 from the Indiana 7. The Hoosiers, one of the best red zone defenses in the country, allowing touchdowns on just about 30% of opponent red zone trips. 2nd and 3 from the 7. Ball spotted on the right side hash. It's a pistol look for Sayin and the Buckeyes. Jeremiah Smith, the lone receiver to the left side of the formation. Handoff up the middle. Jackson down that right side hash. He's brought down by Aiden Fisher and Hosea Wheeler to about the 5-yard line. They'll call it 3rd down and 1 on the 5. A big play upcoming here for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, back to that last play. When those tight ends are working in the pass game, it pulls linebackers away from the box. That time, no threatening tight ends, and the linebackers were there to make a tackle. Aiden Fisher, one of the best players in the country.
3rd down and 1, Lucas Oil Stadium, a conglomeration of scarlet and crimson, all of whom rising to their feet. 3rd and 1 from the 5, right side hash. Left side of the formation is Jeremiah Smith. He's the lone receiver on the field. Sayin takes a snap. He rolls left. He's looking for Smith. He fires for Smith towards the left side pylon. It's incomplete, out of bounds. D'Angelo Pons in coverage. It sets up a 4th and 1 decision now, gentlemen. Nick, what's the call here if you're the Buckeyes?
I think Ryan Day is going to make the right decision. I don't think you can settle for a field goal here with how good Indiana's offense has been to start this second half, but it's a late decision.
Yeah.
They're going to substitute, but it looks like the offense is staying out there.
I think this is a situation where you try to get Indiana jump off sides, then you use a timeout, or you take the delay game. This is a close field goal in any way you take it. But Ryan Day, I wouldn't be shocked as well if he puts this one on the ground.
4th and 1 from the 5, right side hash. The biggest play of the game to date. C.J. Donaldson, the tailback, Sayin under center. It's a QB sneak for Sayin. He's pushing forward. He needed the 4-yard line. The referee is going to have a decision. No signal yet. He's spotted down around the 4, that line to gain, and it will be a 1st down. The Buckeyes move the chains via the QB sneak.
Yeah, Ohio State got a good push right up the middle, saying that's a textbook old-school QB sneak. A good play call by Ryan Day. Now you've got 1st and goal inside the 5.
C.J. Donaldson, the power back, remains in the game. He's got touchdowns in 8 of his 11 appearances this season. We have a whistle. Perhaps the booth might want to take another look at this.
I heard under further review,
Yep.
Zach, so you're right. I thought, based on that
knee
initial
could have been
push,
down.
Sayan was kind of almost army crawling behind his offensive line. It was close, but I thought on the initial push that he got the 1st down.
Yeah.
It was a lot closer upon the spot than I was initially expecting.
Well, Nick, remember that this is one of those situations where even though they're going upstairs to the review booth, the call on the field is that Ohio State has gained this 1st down. So it has to be clear and irrefutable evidence to bring this back for a turnover on downs. But they're going to get some time as we got immediate timeout.
The thought, though, being the booth saw something enough to channel and call for a review in this situation. So with 64 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, Indiana leading Ohio State 13-10, but the Buckeyes are knocking on the door as it stands. 1st and goal from the 4 upcoming for the #1 team in the land. The Ohio State Buckeyes will get the result of this review on the other side of this break on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, if you can hear the remnants of the big cheer here inside of Lucas Oil Stadium, the review comes back. The call has been overturned. Julian Sayan, his knee short of the line to gain with the ball in his hand. A turnover on downs for the Buckeyes. Nick, that is a massive, massive call.
And Zach, before the break, I said it looked like Sayan had the push. It looked like he got it. He was sneaking right behind the center. He got beyond the line of gain. The problem is his knee touched behind the line of scrimmage, and he was down well short. So Ohio State turns it over on downs. The only good thing to take away from that, if you're Ohio State in this situation, is that you've got Indiana pinned in the shadow of its own end zone. Outside of that, to come away from that with no points is going to be extremely disappointing for Ryan Day and his team.
Well, Indiana will put the ball back in the hands of Fernando Mendoza. 13-10, the Indiana lead. 1:04 left on the 3rd quarter clock. If you're just joining us, Indiana got out to a 3-0 lead initially. Ohio State answered with a touchdown to take a 7-3 lead. Both teams traded 2nd quarter field goals. It was a 10-6 lead for Ohio State at the halftime intermission. But on the first offensive drive of the 2nd half for the Hoosiers, Fernando Mendoza led an 88-yard drive. And the Hoosiers have the lead as it stands right now, 13-10, with 64 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Ball spotted on the 5-yard line, left side hash. Mendoza in the pistol with Kalon Black behind him in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right side of the formation for Indiana. It's a handoff up the middle, right side of the offensive line goes Kalon Black for not much of anything before Caden McDonald brings him down.
Well, McDonald got off his block on one of the interior offensive linemen for Indiana, and he just made a play. Got through and brought him down. No gain. That's a big play. It's so tough to run your offense this deep into your own territory, and Indiana only has to run a couple more plays before they're going to get this to the end of the quarter.
Under 30 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Indiana leading 13-10. 2nd and 10 from their own 5-yard line. The Hoosiers deep in their own territory. Shotgun snap. Mendoza pulls it out. Play action fake across the middle. He's got his receiver, E.J. Williams, across the 15 towards the 20. He took it from the right side hash to the middle of the field, enough for a 1st down as Mendoza hits Williams.
And Zach, it looks like Indiana's going to take this to the start of the 4th quarter as the clock is going to hit 0. That is a huge pitch and catch. Mendoza drew the pass rush towards him, and just like Julian Sayan did on Ohio State's last drive, threw right behind where the pressure came from. Indiana gets that first down. Now you're out of the shadow of your own end zone. You move to the 4th quarter, Indiana's got the lead. Not only are the Hoosiers hanging with Ohio State, they've got the lead with a chance to go up 2 possessions. This would be absolutely massive for Indiana.
Guys, Caden Curry is still down on one knee, and he's going to walk off with the training staff.
Well, we have to hope for an update on Caden Curry on the other side of this media timeout as we break for the 3rd quarter intermission. 15 minutes left on the clock to decide a Big Ten champion. It's Indiana 13, it's Ohio State 10 as we head to the fourth quarter on 99.1 WIUX. 13-10, the lead for Indiana over Ohio State. A fresh 15 minutes put on the clock. It's the fourth quarter here, the Big Ten Championship. I'm Zach Browning alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. It's 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers from their own 17 before we get this first down snap from the Hoosiers. We'll send it down to the fourth member of our crew, Ben Haller. Take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Few things to note on the Indiana sideline. Injury-wise, it is not looking great for Omar Cooper. He came out of the locker room after the injury in the first half with a little bit of a jog. When he came out after halftime, it was worse. He's not putting any weight on that leg. As for Kyle Kamara, he's doing a lot of stretching over here on the sideline and limping around when he's not on the field. He's starting to limit those snaps a little bit for him on the defensive side, but still obviously in the game of play. Rodecap on that last drive before the turnover on downs. Livid with the officials. Couple of conversions, a third down earlier, and then that last fourth down play where they actually got the stop, tried to call a timeout, saying officials need to get the earwax out with some explicits in that message to the officials. But Signetti to Fernando Mendoza. He didn't say anything to anybody else. He went up to Mendoza and he said, 1 quarter. You have 1 quarter, finish it.
Thank you, Ben. That sounds like Kurt Signetti being Kurt Signetti right there, and his message to Fernando Mendoza could not have been more clear. Nick, I'll come to you. 1 quarter to win the Heisman. 1 quarter to slay the Giants that Ohio State is. 1 quarter to clinch a #1 seed in the college football playoff.
And Zach Browning, Indiana, the players that were here last year, as Pat McAfee is going to take his shirt off and presumably just go crazy. The players that lost to Ohio State last year have such a bad taste in their mouth. McAfee leading a hoo Hoosiers chant. That first down, Indiana getting out of the shadow of its own goalposts. Fernando Mendoza had a Heisman-worthy drive already in this game. Here's his chance to really drive it home and cement a historic moment in Indiana football history, one of many for this season.
Indiana's never won a Big Ten title. That, of course, on the line, as well as the #1 seed in the college football playoff, as well as potentially the Heisman Trophy for the signal caller, Fernando Mendoza. The Hoosiers break from the huddle. 1st and 10 from their own 17-yard line. Ball spotted in between both hash marks. Kalon Black flanks Mendoza to his left. 3 receivers split out to the left. Now 1 comes in motion from the left to the right. It's a handoff up the middle. Black met at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. A gain of nothing there. Sonny Styles, Davison Igbinosun, and on a stop for the Buckeyes.
Worth noting, we mentioned Caden Curry was hobbled at the end of the third quarter. He just jogged back onto the field. Mendoza, Sayin, now Curry. A lot of guys playing banged up here tonight.
Tell how much it means.
30 seconds into this fourth quarter. 2nd down and 10, Indiana leading 13-10 over the Buckeyes. It's the first time Ohio State has trailed in the second half in 16 games. Ball spot on the right hash mark of the 17-yard line. Mendoza, a pistol look for the Hoosiers. He takes the snap. He turns. He fakes the handoff. He's got pressure from his left. He rolls right. He throws across the numbers at the right side of the field. And he's got Charlie Becker across the 30. The Hoosiers move the chains again.
Well, the throw was great, but Kenyatta Jackson was livid that he did not get a flag as he was rushing around the edge. He thought that Carter Smith was holding him on his jersey. I think he had a darn good case, but that's going to be a big first down for Indiana. Maybe they got away with one there.
I think this is a game where the officiating has been very questionable all around.
1st and 10 from the 32. Still right side hash for Indiana. Shotgun look with a trio of receivers to the right side of the pattern for Mendoza. He takes the snap, hands off left, outside the tackles. Kalon Black in between the hash marks and the numbers on the far side of the field before he's brought down for a gain of 4 down to the Indiana 36-yard line before Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles combine to make the tackle.
You'll take 4 yards on the ground on 1st and 10 anytime you can get it. Great lead block by the left guard, Drew Evans, pulling and setting the edge there for Kalon Black. Evans missed some time with injury, but he clearly has not skipped a beat.
Evans missed 4 straight. He was dressed but did not play last week against Purdue in the Big Ten finale for the Hoosiers. 2nd and 6 from the 36. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for Mendoza in the shotgun. He takes a snap. He looks right. He throws right. He's got Becker in the flat outside the numbers across the 40-yard line. Becker tries to break a tackle from Jermaine Matthews. He's unable to do so, but not before he can get it across the line to gain out towards the 45-yard line. Down to the 43 goes Becker. Another first down through the air for the Hoosiers.
And Becker, the speed and ability to, again, break on that route. I was talking about it with Jeremiah Smith earlier. Great speed, and Mendoza is able to look to his roommate and get that ball out fast.
How about the day for Charlie Becker, the true sophomore? Team high 5 catches for north of 90 yards. Mendoza in the shotgun, 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line. Roman Himby alongside him in the backfield. It's a give to Himby, left side. Himby, left side hash mark, cuts it up the field at the 40-yard line. Now across the 45 down to about the 46 or 47 before Arvell Reese brings them down. We'll call it a gain of about 3 or 4 on first down.
Indiana going run heavy as they've done so many times late in games this season. You think maybe time might be a factor here?
Shotgun set for Mendoza, 2nd and 6 from his own 47-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. The true freshman LeBron Bond split out, all by his lonesome on the far side of the field. The Hoosiers working left to right. Kalon Black not in the game. It's Roman Himby, the back in the backfield alongside Mendoza. It's a 2nd down give to him. He's got a couple of yards before he stumbles down due to a tackle from Jalen McClain. Close to the 50-yard line goes Himby. It's 3rd and about 4 for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, that less of a tackle, more so that Hemby just kind of got tripped over the body of McClain, who was just on the ground.
A big 3rd down here. It's 3rd and 4 for the Hoosiers.
I think you keep it on the ground here.
Kalon Black in the game. I wouldn't be surprised.
Ball on the 49-yard line. Black flanks Mendoza to his left. A trio of receivers to the right side. It's Elijah Surratt one-on-one on the left. Black now to the right hip of Mendoza. He takes a snap. Pressure comes. Mendoza drops back to pass. He's pressured. He rolls out outside the numbers near side of the field. He gets it away out of bounds as he's hit by Arvell Reese. Mendoza to the turf. He got the ball away. As it brings up 4th and 4, the punt unit comes on for the Hoosiers.
Kenyatta Jackson is still baffled that he's not getting this call, but it's a great stop, and Mendoza forced to just throw it away. Some less experienced quarterbacks might try to play hero and throw it downfield, but Mendoza's smart enough to just get rid of it and cut his losses there.
The Australian punter Mitch McCarthy out to punt. He boots this one away to the awaiting Brandon Ennis, who will field it inside his own 10-yard line, just inside the left side hash. He's met by a slew of Indiana defenders pretty much as soon as he brings it in. Isaiah Jones among them for the Hoosiers. The Buckeyes will start inside of their own 10-yard line on the other side of this media timeout. 10:45 to play in this one. It's Indiana 13, Ohio State 10. The Hoosiers holding on to a slim lead with 10:45 left to play to decide a Big Ten champion. We'll be back in just a moment on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, 10:45 left on the 4th quarter clock. It's 13-10, the Indiana lead over the number 1 team in the land. The Ohio State Buckeyes is in this number 1 versus number 2 showdown here for a Big Ten title. Ohio State has the ball coming out of this media timeout. They have it to start on their own 10-yard line, 1st and 10 from the middle of the field after a nice punt of 44 yards from Mitch McCarthy. Julian Sayin and the Buckeyes break their huddle. Sayin looking for his Heisman moment. He hasn't really had an opportunity this year. The Ohio State Buckeyes, they haven't trailed in the second half all year until now. Shotgun set for Sayin. 2 receivers to the right side of the formation. Bo Jackson in the backfield alongside Sayin. 1st and 10 from the 10. Sayin, handoff up the middle. Jackson bursts through the middle of that offensive line before he's brought down by Lou Moore. A gain of about 4 up to the 14.
Ohio State's offensive line is creating some good run lanes for Bo Jackson. He's a cutback or 2 away from breaking one of these. Indiana's really got to be disciplined in their run defense.
Jackson up over the 60-yard mark now in this one on the ground, averaging just north of 4.5 yards per carry. He remains in the backfield behind Sayin in the pistol set. 2 receivers split out to the right now. One comes in motion from the right to the left to join Jeremiah Smith on the left side. 2nd and 6. Shotgun snap. It's another handoff. Jackson, right side of the offensive line. He's got enough for the first down across the 20. Brought down just shy of the 25 to the 24 he goes. Lou Moore and Elijah Hardy on the stop.
Well, it's a good job to move the sticks, and it's credit to Ohio State's offense to be able to stay with the sticks when they get to 2nd and 3rd down. They struggled with 3rd downs in the first half. They were 0 for 4. This half they've looked a lot better, even though it haven't been shown just yet on the board.
The Buckeyes continue to move the chains. 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line. A 3-receiver set for the Buckeyes. It's Isaiah West, the true freshman out of Philadelphia, into the backfield. Sayin drops back to pass. Right side hatch. He's got all day to throw. He throws underneath. Kazmarek right side flat. Outside the numbers, pushing towards the 30-yard line. Dropped it around the 28 by a conglomeration of Hoosiers, including Mikhail Kamara, who comes up limping once again.
Wow, yeah, I was surprised. I was just about to mention that he's back on the field, but something is clearly not right with one of Indiana's best pass rushers.
The man that leads the Big Ten in QB pressures. He had just 1 sack on the year, did the 2024 All-American, but he led the conference in pressures for a 2nd consecutive year. 2nd and 6. Ball spotted on the right side hash, 28-yard line. A jumbo set here for the Buckeyes. Sayin turns, hands off. Isaiah West, right side, met at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. That's Hosea Wheeler, the first one to meet him at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 6 upcoming.
And Zach, I sound like every Midwestern dad right now, but this is a big 3rd down here. The Hoosiers holding strong when they need to. They've answered the call. This is the biggest play of the game. Well, because it's the next play, as Kurt Signetti would say, a chance to get off the field.
3rd and 5 officially from their own 29-yard line. The Buckeyes come out in a shotgun set. Saying something to his offensive line, a receiver to either side of the formation. He takes a snap from the right side hash. He drops back to pass. He looks left. He throws over the middle, across the 30, across the 35, enough for the first down. C.J. Donaldson out of the backfield along the right side hash. Aiden Fisher on the stop for the Hoosiers.
Well, Fisher was able to get there to wrap him up, but Sayin went through his progressions while staying clean in the pocket. He maneuvered the pocket. That is why Sayin is so good. Indiana sent 5 on pressure, but he moved around, great footwork, and decided again, like I mentioned with Mendoza earlier, making the safe play, checking it down to his running back for a first down.
A 3rd first down on this drive for the Buckeyes as they go quick. It's a screen at near side of the field. Jeremiah Smith behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to be brought down first by Aiden Fisher. Jamari Sharp joined Fisher in bringing down Smith. It's a loss of a healthy 6 yards on the first down screen pass to Smith.
Oh, that's a tough one for Ohio State to swallow, and Indiana is going to have an eye on Jeremiah Smith pre-snap motion. They've had him every night, or every play tonight. I just don't really get that play call, Zach. It's not what I would have done.
7 catches, 98 yards for Smith. He's been as good as advertised. Bo Jackson in the backfield alongside Sayin to his right. 2nd and 15 from the 32 for the Buckeyes. Left side hash. Sayin takes a snap, fires over the middle. He's got Jackson out of the backfield across the 35, brought down shy of the 40 by a combination of Aiden Fisher and Isaiah Jones just past the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and we'll call it 8 coming up for Ohio State.
We saw it on the first drive of the second half for Indiana's defense. Negative plays put Ohio State off schedule, then you get off the field. Here, that loss of 5 on first down, you've got to recover that lost yardage on second down. Now it's 3rd and 8. These Indiana fans get loud. Another opportunity to get off the field.
6.5 to play. 13-10 Indiana's lead over Ohio State. 3rd down and 8 in between the hash marks. The Buckeyes on their own 39-yard line. Sayin takes a shotgun snap with 3 receivers on the field. He drops back. He's got room. He rolls out right. He's pressured from behind. He throws down the sideline on the far side of the field. Outside the numbers, he's got Carnell Tate across midfield into Indiana territory, down to the 41-yard line of the Hoosiers. Another first down play for Sayin through the air.
Across midfield, Indiana sent Aiden Fisher on the linebacker blitz. Sayin dropped deep and then rolled to his right, extended the play, found the receiver wide open. There was just nobody near him right there.
Yeah, Amari Farrell was a little late to pick it up, but I think it was less his fault than just a great play design from Ohio State, opening up that middle of the field.
5:37 to play and counting. Bo Jackson in the game for the Ohio State Buckeyes in the backfield. 3 receivers on the field. It's a first down give up the middle to Jackson along that right side hash mark into Indiana territory even further down to the 39 of the Hoosiers.
Well, D'Angelo Pons came off the edge on a cornerback blitz and read the run. He stopped the feet of Jackson a little bit, kept that one to maybe a gain of just 2.
You think about the clock ticking. We're going to be under 5 minutes when Sayin calls for this next snap. Ohio State may be trying to play the clock and give Indiana as little time as possible when the Hoosiers get the ball back.
It's 2nd down and 8. Indiana leading 13-10 as we do now tick under 5 minutes to play. 2nd and 8 from the 39-yard line of the Hoosiers. A pistol look for Sayin. He's got 2 receivers split out to the far side of the field. Sayin takes a snap. He turns. He fakes a handoff. He's looking deep down the left side of the field, and he throws it out of bounds to the right side of the field, out of play. He was pressured by a slew of Hoosiers.
And right there, it looked like Jeremiah Smith was open along the seam for a moment, but Indiana's pass rush got home that time. Sayin did not have an opportunity to set his feet and make that throw to Smith. Wisely there, he threw it away.
Stop me if you've heard this before on this drive. Another big third down. It's 3rd and 8 yet again for the Buckeyes, this time in Indiana territory. The ball spotted just inside the right side hash at the Indiana 39-yard line. Bo Jackson in the backfield alongside Sayin to his left. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Sayin. Indiana brings the blitz. It's a screen. It's a double pass. Brandon Innes catches it on the near side. He throws back to the far side where Jackson is awaiting. Jackson is short of the line to gain, and we have multiple flags flying. As it stands, Jackson brought down at the 32, 33-yard line. Shy of the line to gain, which was the 31. Devin Boykin brought him down, but we have a flag, a couple of them on the far side of the field as the Buckeyes look for some trickery. Both sides doing the old-fashioned, I think it's on them. We'll get our official ruling here in a moment.
Below the belt block for Indiana. That's a huge break for Ohio State. That's game-changing right there.
It moves the chains automatically for the Buckeyes. It came on the far side of the field. They got Mikhail Kamara, who went low on one of Ohio State's offensive linemen to try and make the stop. It's 1st and 10 for the Buckeyes in the red area at the Indiana 18 with 4:33 to play, trailing 13-10. Pistol look for Sayin and the Buckeyes. Check that, the I formation for Sayin and the Buckeyes. Under center goes the redshirt freshman. 4:24 and counting to play. Handoff. Left side, Jackson cuts back right across the numbers, the hash marks inside the 15, down towards the 10-yard line. Amari Farrell brings down Bo Jackson at the 10.5, a gain of 8 on 1st down.
At this point in the game, Indiana's front 7 has to be better at tripping up the running back if they can even get a single finger on him. Cannot let Bo Jackson get that deep into the front 7.
Indiana brings an extra linebacker in. Here's Caden Turner as Lewis Moore and Amari Farrell go off the field. This drive really long for Ohio State at this point.
3:45 to play. 2nd and 2 from the Indiana 10-yard line. Ball spotted just inside the right side hash. Just one receiver on the field to the near side for the Buckeyes. Sayin takes the snap, handoff. Jackson up the middle, met at the line of scrimmage. He pushes forward for about a yard, shy of the line to gain, which is the 8. He's down to the 9 as Dominique Ratcliffe brings him down.
Ohio State going jumbo right there. Indiana responds. They've got 4 linebackers on the field right now. It's clear that they're selling out to the run. Now a bunch of tight ends. I see 3 at least, maybe 4 on the field for Ohio State here.
And Mikhail Kamara is going to replace D'Angelo Pons. This is going right to the trenches, 3rd and 1.
A battle of the big boys with the Big Ten Championship on the line as we tick under 3 minutes to play. 3rd and 1 from the Indiana 9. Under center is Sayin. No receivers. It's a jumbo look. Sayin, play action fake. He rolls right. He throws towards the end zone, and it's broken up in the end zone by Elijah Hardy. No flags. Max Clare, the tight end, the Purdue transfer, the intended target for Sayin.
They're going to kick.
Guys, you think back, this is 4th and 1 from the 9. Ryan Day is going to kick. Now, I would be very wary of the fake right here. Jaden Fielding, this will be under a 30-yard attempt. Kicking has caused Ohio State problems in the postseason in the past.
Jaden Fielding has not missed inside of 40 yards this year. It's a 27-yard attempt to tie up the Big Ten Championship game. The snap, the hold, he missed it left. Jaden Fielding missed it left. The Hoosiers have the lead with 2:48 to play. They'll take over possession inside their own territory.
Zach, what did I say right before Fielding kicked that ball? I said kicking has caused Ohio State problems in the past, in the postseason. You think back to 2022, right as the clock struck midnight on New Year's Day, Ohio State missed a field goal attempt that would have sent them to the national championship. Jaden Fielding shanked that kick. never had a chance. And if this result holds, Ryan Day is going to be asked, Coach, why did you settle for a field goal attempt when it was 4th and 1 inside the 10 and you had a chance to score the go-ahead touchdown?
The same end zone Nicholas Radicic missed in the first half for the Hoosiers. But right now, Indiana in control of their own destiny. 13-10 as the Hoosiers lead over the Buckeyes with 2:48 left to play in the Big Ten Championship. We'll be back for the final 2:48 on the other side of this break on Indiana 99.1 WIUX. Back here in the Circle City, 2:48 left to decide a Big Ten champion in a battle between number 1 and number 2. It's 13 on the board for Indiana. It's 10 on the board for Ohio State. The Buckeyes trailing by 3. The Hoosiers have the ball after a big missed field goal by Jaden Fielding. I'm Zach Browning alongside Andrew Hillsman and Nick Rodecap here on 99.1 WIUX. The Hoosiers have the ball on their own 20-yard line, 1st down and 10 from the left side hash mark. The Hoosiers looking to make history. Never has Indiana won a Big Ten title. The Hoosiers have never won a Big Ten championship. Looking to change that tonight as the Hoosiers look to rewrite history some more. 2:48 left to play, 1st and 10. Mendoza takes a shotgun snap, handoff left side. Kalon Black is going to tumble his way towards that 25-yard line. Davison Igbinosun brings him down. Timeout, Ohio State.
Got to start using those now. That's the right call from Ryan Day to start burning these timeouts, because if Indiana keeps running the ball like they have all night, this is all she wrote.
2:44 left to play in this one, and we have another media timeout, gentlemen, so we'll take it with them. 13-10, the Indiana lead over Ohio State. 2nd and 5 for the Hoosiers on the other side of this break here on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, 2:44 left on the 4th quarter clock. Indiana leads Ohio State 13-10 with a Big Ten title on the line. 2nd and 5 for Indiana coming out of this timeout. Nick, you brought it up in our break. Just 2 timeouts left for the Hoosiers to clinch the first ever Big Ten championship.
Indiana at 2nd and 5 at its own 25. If you get to the 40 with 2 first downs, you win this game. Ohio State's got 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute timeout. You need 2 first downs, and you can kneel it out from there. That's all you need.
It's an Indiana rushing attack that has been able to do this all season long. The Hoosiers averaging 230 yards on the ground per game. So far today, Indiana sitting at 124, 4.6 yards per carry on the ground for Indiana. 2nd and 5 from their own 25-yard line. The Hoosiers break the huddle in a shotgun set. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Kalon Black flanks Fernando Mendoza to his right side hip. Left side hash, Elijah Surratt in motion from the left to the right. It's a handoff up the middle. Kalon Black brought down at the line of scrimmage by Caden Curry. It sets up 3rd and 5, and the ever-important question after this timeout from Ryan Day in Ohio State, do you throw here?
No, I don't think you can. It's 3rd and 6, but at the same time, I mean, Nick, what do you think? I say no.
Well, there's an old saying, 3 things can happen when you throw the football and 2 of them are bad.
Correct.
Either incomplete, intercepted, or caught by your receiver.
You got to keep it on the ground.
If nothing else, you run the ball to force Ohio State to use its final timeout.
Correct.
I don't know. I'm not a coach.
The only thing that I can think of that would be acceptable here is a quick hitter.
It's a screen pass,
yeah,
right?
Well, it has to be.
Yeah.
And it's got to be probably a tight end screen just off of the line that keeps it inside the hashes.
You could run, I'm thinking, I do this in NCAA 26 sometimes. you just run a design like a little running back slip screen.
Yeah.
Right?
It's got to be
You get the free rushers toward you, and you throw it right behind them. But otherwise, keep it on the ground, force Ohio State to use its last timeout.
And take care of the football.
Well, gentlemen, let's find out. 3rd and 6, 2:41 to play. Ohio State down to 1 timeout, trailing 13-10. Kalon Black in the backfield alongside Mendoza. 3 wide receivers set for the Hoosiers. Mendoza claps, shotgun snap. The Hoosiers will throw. Charlie Becker, right side sideline. He brings it in! Charlie Becker across the 50 into Ohio State territory. 1st down, Hoosiers.
That's why we're not coaches. You take a deep shot. You trust the guy who nobody knew even existed outside Bloomington before this season began. The one who effectively got you in position to win at Penn State. and he makes the biggest catch in Indiana history.
Indiana doesn't have to take a snap before the 2-minute timeout. As we're ticking closer to it, Charlie Becker, 6 catches, 126 yards on the day for the sophomore. The roommates back in Bloomington, they connect for perhaps the biggest throw and catch of the year for the Hoosiers, obviously excluding the Omar Cooper catch against Penn State. But we've officially hit the 2-minute timeout. 13-10, Indiana over Ohio State. The Buckeyes, they can stop the clock just one more time. The Hoosiers, they can smell it. 1st and 10 from from the Ohio State 43-yard line on the other side of this break on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in the Circle City. Coming out of the 2-minute timeout, Indiana needs one more first down to claim the 2025 Big Ten title. 1st and 10 from the Ohio State 43-yard line in front of a capacity crowd of 68,214. The Hoosiers, they're looking for their first ever Big Ten championship. They need just one more first down to do it. Fresh off of a big 33-yard completion from Fernando Mendoza to his roommate in Bloomington, Charlie Becker. The Hoosiers have it in Ohio State territory. Kaylon Black in the backfield behind Mendoza. It's going to be a heavy dose of running the football for the Hoosiers. 2 receivers on the field. Black alongside Mendoza to his left. It's a handoff to him, and he just slips and falls just across the 45 along the right side hash. A gain of nothing, we'll call it, on first down.
And Ohio State not using a timeout. They've got one left. Kind of surprised Ryan Day didn't call it right there.
I am too.
This obviously cannot be him waving the white flag, but now the clock's still ticking. And Indiana, of course, is going to huddle and take as much time as possible.
92 seconds and counting. The Hoosiers, they can feel it back in Bloomington. They can feel it here in Lucas Oil Stadium. 13-10. 80 seconds to play and counting. 2nd and 10 from the 43-yard line, right side hash. It's a shotgun look for the Hoosiers. Mendoza turns to his left, hands off to Black, right side hash mark. He pushes forward to the 40-yard line before Arvell Reese brings him down. A gain of 3. It sets up 3rd down and 7. And now Ryan Day and Ohio State will take a timeout, which will send us to our final media timeout of the evening. 13-10, Indiana on top of Ohio State. The Hoosiers need one more first down to clinch a Big Ten title, their first ever in program history. 70 seconds separates the Hoosiers from history. We'll be back on the other side of this break on 99.1 WIUX. Back here in Indianapolis, 13-10, the lead for Indiana. We've got just 70 seconds left to play in the 2025 Big Ten title game. Zach Browning alongside Nick Rodecap and Andrew Hillsman. 3rd down and 7. On the Ohio State 40-yard line. Gentlemen, we were doing some number crunching at that timeout, and Ohio State looking about 30 seconds left should they get this 3rd down stop.
Indiana has to, you run the ball here. I don't think there's any question.
And we thought maybe Indiana would run on the last 3rd down, and Mendoza took a deep shot, 30-plus yards to Charlie Becker. First down puts the game away.
Yep. Here I think is different.
Yeah, it's...
You trust your run game.
Yeah. That's why we're not coaches. But what happens in these next 6 or 7 or 8 seconds, monumental. Either way.
Let's go. Here we do.
13-10, 70 seconds to play, quarter number 4 of the Big Ten championship. 3rd down and 7. Indiana has it right side hash on the Ohio State 40-yard line. Kaylon Black to the left hip of Fernando Mendoza. Surratt in motion from the right to the left. It's a handoff up the middle. Kaylon Black pushes into a large pile across the 40-yard line, but nowhere near the line to gain. He's at the 38. The Hoosiers will have to punt. But the clock continues to tick off the scoreboard.
I think they're going to hold the punt team off as long as they can. It might be a quick switch here.
Just probably take a delay of game.
You could also either take a delay of game or take the clock down to the play clock down to 1 second and call timeout. Signetti's in the official's ear there.
I think Signetti might be okay with leaving that timeout. I think he's going to take it, but to give McCarthy more room, no problem.
Yeah, and you're Julian saying, you're thinking, okay, it's not over. You're going to get another chance. You're not going to have much time. It's going to be about 24 seconds on the clock as Cignetti takes the timeout.
24 seconds separates Indiana from history, a first ever Big Ten championship win for the Hoosiers, just 24 seconds away. But Julian Sayin, one of the front runners for the Heisman and the #1 team in the country, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they'll get one final say. Curt Cignetti takes a timeout with 24 seconds to play, 4th and 5 upcoming.
And Zach, it's not over, obviously. It's not over for a couple reasons. I don't think Ohio State can run the ball. Otherwise, I'd say Bo Jackson. But the two reasons this game isn't over, Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. The two best receivers, the best receiver tandem in college football. Cignetti called Smith the most dominant player in college football. And I will never, ever count out this Ohio State team, because doing so would be extremely dangerous. This is going to be a long 24 seconds if you're an Indiana fan.
Brandon Innes back deep to return. He has not returned a punt for a touchdown this year. He's averaging just under 12 yards per return this season. Mitch McCarthy out to punt his heels on his own 42-yard line.
Might watch a fake here.
4th and 5, 45 seconds to go. It's a quick high punt, end over end. Brandon Innes comes up to just shy of the 15-yard line to call for the fair catch. 18 seconds left on the clock for Heisman hopeful Julian Sayin and the #1 team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're starting to feel it here in Indy.
And Zach, Ohio State in this situation, it's going to be quick passes to the boundary. We saw some out routes to Jeremiah Smith to start Sayin off in this game. I suspect that's probably where Ohio State's going to go. 18 seconds, though. Time is not on your side. At some point, you have to take a shot. Indiana's going to keep the safeties deep and be ready for that.
13-10, Indiana leading by 3. 18 seconds to play. 1st and 10 from the 14. Ball spotted on the left side hash for the Buckeyes. Sayin in the shotgun. He drops back to pass. Left side hash. He rolls out left. He throws underneath. He's got C.J. Donaldson out of the backfield. Quickly out of bounds goes Donaldson. A gain of just about 2.
For that amount of time to come off the clock, that's not nearly enough yardage.
You took 5 seconds off the clock to officially gain 1 yard. That just doesn't work. At some point, like Indiana's rushing 3, they're dropping 8. Everybody knows you've got to take the shot. Indiana, you've got to be disciplined. You've got to communicate here.
.13 seconds to play, 2nd and 10. Ball on the 15-yard line for the Buckeyes. Shotgun look for Sayin. He takes a snap, left side hash. He steps up into the pocket. He lets one rip. Right side of the field into a mess of players. It is waiting for a signal, incomplete at the 40-yard line. Just 2 seconds left to play as that one falls incomplete. The Buckeyes have one more shot. They can feel it on that Indiana sideline. 13-10. Indiana has scored the lone points in the second half. It was an opening drive, their first offensive possession of the third quarter. Indiana went 88 yards, and Fernando Mendoza found Elijah Surratt to give Indiana what was then a 13-10 lead that has stood all the way until the end. 2 seconds to play. Shotgun for Sayin. It's now or never for the #1 Buckeyes. Ball on the 15-yard line, left side hash. Ohio State has to go 85 yards. Sayin drops back to pass. 3-man rush for the Hoosiers. Sayin rolls right. He's pressured from behind. Throws right side hash. It is caught by somebody at the 40-yard line, but it's not going to be enough. The Giants have fallen. Indiana slays Ohio State to claim the 2025 Big Ten Championship on a night they'll never forget in Bloomington. For the first time since 1988, it's been 37 years, the Hoosiers have taken down the Buckeyes, a #1 versus #2 clash, and the Hoosiers come out top.
It's enough to make any Hoosier fan cry, and that's okay. What a game.
What a game, what a season for Indiana. 13-0. The Dragons, they've been slayed.
Zach and Andrew, I got some news for you boys. I hope you didn't make any plans for New Year's, because we are going to Pasadena. Indiana went to the Rose Bowl last year to play UCLA. They were on national television. No one really knew what to make of them. They'd won their first 2 games, but sure, they were against cupcakes. First conference game for Curt Cignetti. Indiana showed that they were different. That was in September of 2024. And 15 months later, they're going back to Pasadena. They're going to be the #1 seed in the college football playoff, winning their first Big Ten title outright since 1945. George Taliaferro was on that team. He's got a statue outside Memorial Stadium. Curt Cignetti, the Indiana head coach, is also going to have a statue outside the Rock. What an unbelievable run. Curt Cignetti said Purdue sucks, but so do Michigan and Ohio State, and now he's beaten all 3.
In just 2 years at the helm of the Hoosiers, Curt Cignetti has done something nobody thought was possible. He's turned the losingest program in the history of college football into a Big Ten champion. The Hoosiers, they'll be headed to Pasadena as the #1 overall seed in the college football playoff. The Hoosiers, they'll play in the Rose Bowl game for the first time since 1967. Man, the confetti's coming down. What a night in Indy. I can only imagine what Kirkwood is like right now. They closed down Kirkwood.
They took the cars off Kirkwood. Charlie Becker is getting interviewed on Fox. 2 career-high performances for him this year. One against Penn State, and here in the Big Ten championship, this is a kid who wasn't even in the top 4 or 5 on Indiana's depth chart when the year began. And again, he comes up so big. And I don't believe it. Curt Cignetti said that at some point, maybe when he's 80 years old, he sits on his couch with a beer and reflects on what he's done, but he hasn't really done that yet. I feel like it's going to be the same way for us, because I don't think that we can fully grasp what this means in the moment. This is, I don't believe, I am in total disbelief. I texted our group chat and I said I didn't think Indiana had a chance. I just thought Ohio State was too good. And I thought wrong again. Somehow they found weaknesses in Ohio State's game. They made Julian Sayin uncomfortable, which nobody had done this year. It's unbelievable.
Gentlemen, we talked about it at the Open. What was at stake tonight? Indiana 13-0 for the first time ever, as the Indiana faithful that traveled to Indianapolis.
Curt Cignetti had tears in his eyes. They showed him on the Jumbotron. He cried a little bit after the Penn State game because of what the personal significance of that game, him being a Pennsylvania native. That's the most emotion I think he's ever showed. They showed him in tears on the Jumbotron.
A Heisman Trophy clinched by Fernando Mendoza, you think.
It's in the bag.
It's a given.
After a 222-yard and 1 touchdown performance and leading his team to a #1 takedown of the Buckeyes, the Hoosiers, they'll claim the #1 spot in the college football playoff. Gentlemen, as recent as week 5, Indiana was still being written off. They'd just come off of a thrashing of Illinois. They go into Oregon, people discrediting them. Dan Lanning went on the set of Game Day, took off his shirt, and everybody but Pat McAfee picked the Ducks to win that game. Indiana won that. Curt Cignetti said that was the moment where Indiana became legitimized to the national crowd. Hard to disprove this.
We were going into this game and people were saying, oh, play a real team. Ohio State by 14. They just keep proving everybody wrong.
Guys, I'm going to say a sentence here that a couple years ago you'd be laughed out of a room for saying. Indiana football is the best American football team in the darn country.
In college, yes.
From the losingest program in the history of college football to the absolute top, the pinnacle of college football. They'll be the #1 ranked team in the country come Sunday afternoon when the AP poll releases. They'll be the #1 team in the country when the college football playoff ranking releases.
For the first time ever.
And I'll add how'd they do it, Nick. 10 points allowed. 10 points allowed. Bryant Haynes, a finalist for the Broyles Award.
He's going to win it. He has to.
He proved why tonight.
And I saw a graphic that Fox put up. Ohio State's rushing yard total, the fewest rushing yards they've had in a game since 2011. It's been 14 years since a defense has played that well against Ohio State's run game. Bryant Haynes, whatever he wants, pay him. Give him a blank check. You have to keep him. I do not believe it. I remember 2 years ago, you guys may have been at this game, Indiana played Louisville in this stadium in 2023. They lost, I believe it was 21-14, largely because they ran a quarterback draw on 4th and goal at the 1. And I talked about it. I think a lot will be made of Ryan Day's decision to attempt a field goal instead of trying to go for it on 4th and 1 inside the Indiana 10. Jaden Fielding missed it. Indiana salted it away. And Indiana wins the Big Ten championship in the same building where they couldn't even beat Louisville 2 years ago. It does not feel real. And
I know the basketball to football comparisons are what they are, but Indiana has won a Big Ten title in football before they win a Big Ten tournament title in basketball.
It's ridiculous.
What a world we live in. Indiana, they'll be the #1 team in the country. They slay the Dragons. Ohio State goes down 13-10. Indiana victorious over Ohio State. Guys, I'll go to you for any final thoughts.
Andrew, you first or me?
I don't know if either of us can put together a coherent sentence.
I just
not really one for words here, to be honest.
What this means, Indiana is the best college football team in the country. That has never in our lifetimes, barely in our parents' lifetimes, been said.
When Curt Cignetti got hired, I thought the ceiling with last year's schedule was 9 wins.
Yeah. You know, this was a team where the fan base was happy just to make a bowl game.
Yep.
That was the goal. We got hung up. You think about, I'm going to go for Home Field IU, the brand, Home Field. They make very good apparel, not sponsored or anything. That brand was started because Griffin Oaks missed a game-tying field goal attempt in the Pinstripe Bowl.
Yep.
And IU fans were hung up on that among a whole slew of other things. Getting left out of the Big Ten championship game in 2020 was another. Indiana technically should have been in, but it wasn't. The Big Ten waived the 6-game minimum, yada, yada, yada. I'd like to think that this is a little bit of revenge for that as well. There is just so much heartbreak that characterizes the history of Indiana football. Curt Cignetti just kicked that out the window in less than in 2 years. He completely erased what was the worst football program in Division I. Wow.
If you guys remember the first play of this game, Fernando Mendoza went down with an injury. The confetti's on the field. Indiana just hoisted the Big Ten championship crowd. Andrew, final thought.
Guys, remember the first play of the season. Colton Joseph ran a 75-yard touchdown run. Zach, you and I were on that call. We were flabbergasted. We're like, is this how this year's going to be?
Here comes 2021.
Felt like 2021,
right.
Exactly.
On the first play from scrimmage, all the way back on August 30th. Today, on December 6th, Indiana is on top of the college football world.
The Hoosiers, they're packing their bags for Pasadena. Indiana, for the first time since 1967, is going back to play in the Rose Bowl. A 13-10 win for the Hoosiers over the Buckeyes. Indiana claims the #1 title in the country. They claim their first ever Big Ten championship. And Fernando Mendoza probably just claimed the first ever Heisman Trophy victory for any Hoosier in program history. But that's going to do it for us here from Lucas Oil Stadium. We appreciate Ben Crewer back in the studio host for us this evening. We appreciate Ben Haller down on the sideline. For Andrew Hillsman, for Nick Rodecap, I'm Zach Browning saying so long from Lucas Oil Stadium. Indiana football, they're your 2025 Big Ten champions.